Yes. Yes, it did. Yes.
I'll be muted for
Jenny's.
part of the time
Okay.
while I'm cutting this out, but I'm still here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, still here.
What are we talking about?
Jenny's
Life.
turf killer name. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, what did I do with my other phone? Hold on 1 second. You can start. I'm gonna go get my phone.
Just a joke. I wish no ill will on any turf anywhere. They're fine people. There's good people in both groups, you know?
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I was saying that last night. You know, every group has their assholes, and every group has their awesome people, and then there's some people in between that aren't too bad. Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, it's human nature. We have the capacity for both. I mean, even Ted Bundy helped grandmas cross the street. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
And
but he was
on-
licking his lips while he did it.
well, no, grandmas weren't really his type. But when it comes down to it, like, we all have the capacity for both, but it depends on the extreme. It's like every single person has lied or stolen something or done something shitty, like, you know, slept with their friends, like boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Like,
Right.
it varies to person, but we've all done shitty things. Like, we've all done evil things, but
Oh,
most
yeah.
of them are on like a minor league scale, and that's just human nature. Like,
Yeah.
we're not perfect, you know?
Well, I've done some fucked up. There's stuff that I wouldn't even say on a live stream that I've done because it's like gross and fucked up.
Same.
I mean, I
Same.
never really hurt anybody, but morally, it was horrible.
Oh, Poe Buddy's
Just
nerfed.
morally horrible.
Poe Buddy is nerfed.
Yep, that's right. I'm nerfed. Not perfect.
But that's why I try, emphasis under try not to judge, you know?
Right.
But, you know, we judge in our everyday life. Like, if someone smells bad, you're not going to give them a hug. If somebody, you know, there are the simple things.
But I can't always control my bladder.
Hey, Donald Trump rocks the diaper.
So
with
we'll
anger.
just do a side hug then, you know?
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
just, you know, one arm side hug. We'll make it work.
So when I lived in Portland, I quit smoking, and there were homeless people that would come in all the time, and I mean people that literally lived under the bridge, and I had been friends with them for years. And one day this guy walks in, and I was like, oh, he smells like campfire, like he reeks, he can't be in here. And the assistant manager, she looked at me and she's like, you've been letting him in here for a year, you crazy person. But I couldn't smell him because I profusely smoked 2 packs a day. And then
wow.
when I quit smoking, like, it was a whole new world, you know? Still now, I quit smoking 3 years ago, and like everything grosses me out now.
Dude, I'm so sensitive right now. I'm actually afraid to quit smoking all the way. Like,
I know
before I quit cigarettes and I was just like vaping and shit, but you're still like putting shit in your system, nicotine, blah, blah, blah. So I'm afraid to, because I taste everything. If something's a little off, I'm like, oh, no,
Yeah,
that's not perfect. You can have that back.
Oh, are you feeling all right? Never mind.
I don't know who Terry is either. Sorry, Sarah.
I'm almost to that point.
I seriously am, but you know what it does to me is it makes me a really good cook because I'm really good with spices.
Absolutely.
And I can eat something. Someone will be like, "Oh, I made this. What do you think's in it?" And I'm like, let's see. There's oregano and basil and thyme and rosemary and, you know, garlic, powdered garlic, not minced. That's powdered. And da da da. And they're like, "How the fuck did you know that?" Like, I can taste that shit. I taste chemicals in water. I think water is disgusting.
Oh,
it's just like
no.
this tangy, chemically aftertaste with every fucking sip.
I can taste
That's all I can taste.
I can smell and taste like the chlorine in tap water. And
You
like,
would hate California water. You would hate
well,
our water.
I drink bottled water. I mean, it sucks for the environment, but luckily I'm only one person, you know, so
Yeah.
But if I try to drink tap water, it literally upsets my stomach. Like, I've got a really sensitive stomach. And
did you grow up on it?
We drank tap water when I was a kid. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, because I grew up on tap water, but the stuff we have nowadays is different. It tastes
Yeah,
different.
no,
It's more
from-
chlorinated.
From the time I was about 8 or so, we had to switch to bottled water at that point because like something went different with the water, and my dad's just as sensitive to these things as I am. So like he and I both were just like we can't drink this. Like the bottled water I drink is Aquafina. And fun fact, I went out and I bought one of those zero water filter pitcher things, and it
Ooh.
comes with a little water tester.
Mhm.
And it will tell you how many parts per million of dissolved solids you have in your drinking water. And the tester is meant to, once it gets to a certain point, you're supposed to change the filter. And I tested water at my parents' house before and after filtration, and it was at like around 68 or 70-ish, and then it got down to 0. The water where I was living at the time was at like 160, and like I smelled chlorine. I couldn't even cook with the water there because it just smelled like chlorine whenever I turned on the tap. And I got that down to 0. And then I started checking bottled waters. The bottled water my parents were drinking was literally only like within like 2 to 5 parts per million difference from their tap water, whereas Aquafina was coming in between 6 and 8 parts per million, like as close to 0 as I have seen in all of the waters that I've tested. So unless it comes out of a 0 pitcher or is an Aquafina, I don't really drink other bottled waters.
Same, Sarah.
Now
I
you
grew
got
up
me
on well
looking.
water
Now you
too.
got me
I
looking.
love. And the first time I went to a city, I went visit my sister Susan in Orlando, by the way. And I turned on the tap water and I let it get nice and cold. And I got a glass. I started chugging it. And she was like, "Oh no, you don't want to
do that. Don't do that."
And that's all she got in her mouth. I was like, and I just spit it out in the sink and dumped it. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" She's like,
But,
"Everything tastes like crawfish around here. Water table's too high."
I grew up on
Weird.
Lake Michigan water. It is the best tasting, most neutral, brilliantly clear water anywhere. Lake Superior is right up there too.
Can you just walk up with a cup and drink it?
Spectacular for water.
Water should be cold and wet, and that's it.
Superior,
You shouldn't have a
Michigan,
taste.
and Upper Huron are spectacular for water.
Right.
Anything further east than that, and it's gets dicey.
I need to pick an orange for Orloff's carrot nose. Like I can go with more like natural carrot, or I can go like lighter, or I can go like neon.
That one.
Orange. The bright ass orange.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm looking what kind of bottled
Alright.
water I have over there. I'm like peeking, like, what kind of bottled water do I have?
I like those scams with water. It's great watching these companies try to scam people. The biggest craze right now is alkaline water, that you're drinking alkaline water so you can change your body to alkaline.
Okay.
You change your body to alkaline, you'll be dead.
So I go I
Everybody
take
thinks they need to drink it because they want to be big and strong and healthy.
I take my boomer mom shopping, and once a week I am the real life George Costanza because I get in an argument with my mother over that stupid alkaline water. And I'll buy it, but I tell her, this doesn't do shit for you. I love you enough to tell you. It's vitamins all over again. It's vitamins.
I really love you. Quit drinking this shit.
Because it's just water. She got hooked on that. What was it? Ice? It was called Ice. It just had different flavors and stuff. It was bad for you, but it tasted good. Hey, you know.
Yeah.
But at least you were getting a product. Like special water doesn't exist.
Well, what you need to understand is that the human body is balanced to acid, and if you take in too much alkaline water, it will change your body, and you will die because the body cannot survive in an alkaline environment.
Exactly.
Jenny, I'm gonna go to her house and take all that water out of her house. They put it right in the front.
Will, you know why potassium's so important?
Well,
It's because it affects your heart.
Mm-hmm.
If you have too much or not enough, it's amazing that whole balance of Jenny's right. Don't fuck with that shit.
You're
Like,
We have these
seriously.
arguments every week. We have this every week.
Lethal
I'm like,
injection is potassium chloride. Like that is one way to kill somebody. Like
Yep.
Trust
Get
me.
too much potassium.
It's to the point where the workers are like, he's kind of right. They're like, we work here. We're not supposed to say that, but
Your electrical system is based on sodium and potassium and their ability to infiltrate and step out of the nervous system. Each individual myelin and sheath for nerve cells and stuff allow it to come in and out. It's what helps to make the messages go down the road. And so when you lose the balance, things start going bad, and the heart's one of the first to figure it out, and you die.
exactly.
Fun. Ox, I have one thing to say. Do tell. There's a rust removing laser. I need that.
I've seen that.
Holy shit.
It is an amazing device. It is just absolutely amazing. And as soon as you get $30,000, you can have one too.
Oh, Jenny, you just hurt me.
It literally, it's a gun, device, and you point it at the rusty steel, and as fast as you pull the trigger and move it back and forth, right, left, the rust disappears.
oh, that's cool.
Just choose right through it, huh?
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Very cool. And the steel or whatever beneath it is not damaged.
Nope, not a bit.
Shit.
It's just amazing.
That's great. So it's set to a level to just burn off the rust, but not hot enough to affect the actual metal. Because, of course, the rust isn't as dense. It's thinner. It's more brittle, fragile, blah, blah, blah. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's more a coating, honestly.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it'll eventually keep eating through, but it is just it's a nasty, mean coating, yes.
It's ferric oxide.
There you go. Now you guys know. I knew you were all wondering. Thank you, Jenny.
The kind of patina you don't want.
I already forgot what did you say? Oxide?
I said it's the kind of patina you don't want.
Well,
There's
yeah.
patina, and then there's rust.
Well,
Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true.
Well,
Look around at the some of the newest power supply poles. The 60, 70, 80 foot tall ones that are like 20 feet on the bottom that are all rusty. They have a type of steel and coating on them that allow them to rust to a certain point, and then that becomes the protective coating for the rest of it.
Huh.
It's really.
Yeah, I have to look. I want to go look now.
Damn. That's pretty smart.
Learn something new every day.
It's like aluminum. If you polish aluminum, that's outdoors, the aluminum on your motorcycle or your bicycle, and get it all nice and shiny, you've actually damaged the aluminum because you've removed the oxidized coating that helps it to preserve itself.
Ah. Interesting. Can you read that, Jenny? It says, look up.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
40,000. Oh, they've gone up a bit.
Yeah, a bit. They gained traction by a third.
No.
There's no way they cost that much to build, man.
Whew.
Somebody's really making it on that.
That's like when I was a truck driver. I went down to Florida and we had to drive in this like sandy fucking area, and it wasn't even like a parking lot. It was just a sandy area around these warehouse looking buildings. And they brought out this piece of metal, and it was like long conveyor belt-ish, had little rollers on it and a machine in the middle. And I was like, what the hell is that? And they said it's a chicken wrapper. It wraps the plastic wrap around the chicken packs for Purdue.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, really? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Purdue's in such and such town. That's where I'm going. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even look at the name of the receiver because the other guy was driving. And so he said, yeah, you guys be careful, really careful with this load. They put it in there. It literally weighed like 3,200 pounds. And they put parts for another machine just like it in the, and they like drilled it all down, hammered it all down to the floor and everything. So nothing would move. And it weighed like 3,200 pounds, $5 million.
They're building
$5 million for the fucking conveyor.
You just reminded me of they are destroying the hills of California right now, which is no shocker. Our landscape is being destroyed for cell phone towers.
Oh yeah, great.
Because they want people to have better reception. they're running straight lines through the hills from here to Tehachapi, then back up to more Northern California. It's crazy. They've completely destroyed the canyon where where my job is. It's hard to watch. And they say, oh, it's in the name of progression, but they're destroying all the natural landscape.
Right. Oh, no, I know. That's like they wanted to, up in Pennsylvania, they started putting in windmills. Do you know how long those fuckers are? One of those blades are like 110 feet or 220 feet or something like that. The typical tractor trailer is 53. So double it plus some. And they have to carry these down the highway. And what they do is they attach an axle to the front and an axle to the back. And the front axle attaches onto the truck. And that's what they do. There's nothing in between. It's just two axles attached to, because the fucking thing's so strong, they don't have to put it on a trailer. It's like they're not going to bend it transporting it. So they just attach maybe 3 axles, but whatever. There's no like trailer on it. And those fuckers are long. So when they go to take those up the hill, they destroy the mountain they are taking them up. They destroy it. There's a tractor trailer going up that road with a 100 and some odd thousand pound load.
I think I don't want to get the town wrong. We have hundreds of miles of windmills in our desert, like in the deep, deep desert of California. And when you drive to a place like Las Vegas, I miss you. Can't be a day where I don't mention it. But my whole point is when you drive out there, they're deep in the desert. They're like outside of the town of Mojave, but I mean, they're far out. But it's not necessarily an eyesore. It's kind of beautiful, but it has destroyed the landscape.
Yeah.
And how much energy do we really get from that? And that's more of a novice kind of question. It's not like a gotcha.
Well, if you look at the windmills in Arizona, like there's mesas there. And I think I've told this story before. They're U-shaped, and they're right off the highway. And the way the wind comes in, that's why they're U-shaped. So they have like hundreds in these big-ass mesas, hundreds of windmills just constantly going.
But
and it like powers all of Arizona or some shit. I don't even know now.
All those windmills, it wouldn't be as windy as it is nowadays.
Yeah, they just turn those off.
Arizona actually has a nuclear power plant in a town called Springfield.
It's probably it might be close to. I don't know.
Nowhere.
Smart ass Simpsons. Okay, I get it.
It's half true. So when California, when we were having our energy crisis, the state of Arizona was powering Los Angeles. They were powering the entire city of Los Angeles because they have nuclear power, and so it was almost like nothing to them to power us. And it kind of taught us a lesson, actually.
Right. Anybody have the answer to that? Don't windmills cause cancer?
Well, yeah, they do.
Google foo.
The cancer is so rampant that it'll blow you away.
So I'm quoting an old sailor.
You quit with the wind jokes, Jenny.
It seems like everything gives you cancer. If it fucks right, tastes good, or smells good, it'll give you cancer. So
at least in the state of California. At least in the state of California, it will give you cancer.
Live your life.
Everybody else is like, meh. California's like, don't use these trash bags. They're illegal in the state of California. They give off too many aroma of lavender.
CFCs. Yes.
Yeah, with that too.
How does something qualify to give you cancer?
Just have California ban it. Everything they ban causes cancer.
No, the list that you had, Will.
It's the 3 Fs. I forgot what I said, but it's feed me, fight me, fuck me. It's the 3 Fs. And everything that tastes good, smells good, or is good gives you cancer.
Oh, so my girlfriend would give me cancer. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. If you do it right.
Yes, Maya. That one for sure will cause cancer.
Damn right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Ox. Like, because in the 90s they'd say eggs are bad, and then they said eggs weren't bad, then they said if you eat too much red meat, and then it's like, oh, don't eat, you have to have a balanced diet, and it's like, I'm gonna die from something I ate, drank, or smoked anyways.
Eat more
So-
greens. You better clean your greens. There might be pesticides on them. They're going to kill you. There's something bad in your freezer right now, and it could kill you tonight at 11.
That's an Ellen
That's
joke.
an Ellen DeGeneres joke. Yes, it is. I love her, man. Like, I want to be her friend, man. I want to hang out with her. Like, have a few drinks. Bullshit. It'd be awesome. She's hilarious. Anyway.
Maya, when I'm at the hospital and they ask me what am I allergic to, I always tell them there's a couple of medications I'm allergic to, and then I also include Republicans.
Oh.
If that's a medication, I'm going to a different doctor.
they would.
I don't want a Republican medication.
They wouldn't. No. I got that like moment because I live around a bunch of Republicans, and I'm like, yeah, that's about accurate. That's about right.
I'm sorry. I live around a bunch of I don't give a shit. Everybody just be nice to each other people.
Like I always say, like 99% of the people mind their own business. And you know what? I feel sorry for those people when their kid is on meth running down the street knocking over every trash can. And that's more, I feel sorry for them, because we're actually really peaceful around here. And there's something that actually happened recently. And I have decency, so I'm not going to release the video camera footage I have.
I have one thing to say about this, Ox. Yes, I've heard the same thing. I heard she's horrible to work for. She's an asshole. She yells at people and shit. But everybody needs to remember that the best comedians out there, all have some kind of mental health issue where they're like suicidal, angry all the time, hate everybody. They do comedy to keep themselves sane.
Bipolar.
Right,
They just bipolar, right? And that's why you like Robin Williams.
Yep.
And the rest of them.
My biggest issue with Ellen is more her whitewashing a war criminal. Like the fact that she was trying to essentially go, oh, well, we just have disagreements. It's okay. When she had all that flack from going to the sports game or whatever with George W. Bush. It's like, motherfucker's a war criminal. Like, and trying to whitewash the reputation of someone who should have been brought up on charges for war crimes. Like,
right.
I don't like that. And that has nothing to do with mental health.
Every president in the last 121 years has been a war criminal.
Hey, look, the bottom line is everybody famous out there is in somebody's pocket. I'm sure Ellen's in somebody's pocket too. Somebody's paying her bills and she has lines she can't cross because of those people. When you work for a big corporation like that and you're famous, you go by their rules. You agree with what they agree with and everything, and that's how you keep your fucking job.
No, I agree with you, but like there are certain there's certain levels, okay? I don't know much about Ellen. I don't know much about Ellen.
I'm just saying in general, that's what I've heard.
I knew someone that used to work for Jennifer Lopez, and if you're a PA or under, you're not allowed to look her in the eye. Imagine 30, 40 people that are not allowed to look her in the eye. They tell you, do not look her in the eye. You are not allowed to look her in the eye. So what is that?
See? Thank you, Maya.
That would be my marching orders to look at her in.
And then she said, or what B said. Thank you.
I always like, and there's one person who recently passed, so I won't trash him. But there's a lot of Hollywood people who they're beyond weird. And they branch off into like, I'm better than you and you're subspecies. I'm telling you, I met Suge Knight and he was the nicest man on earth.
Really?
I met Paul McCartney and Paul McCartney was the nicest man on earth. You know
what's funny to go ahead, finish that.
No, it's okay. I was about to go off about B actors. I met a bunch of B actors that are complete asshats.
Right. I think it's funny that I know all these people. I've met all these people throughout my life because I've been in Orlando. I live close to Disney. Back then, there was a lot of stars going in and out of the Grand Floridian Hotel. They had like suites up high. You had to special pass cards, blah, 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 like really fancy digs. And so there was always stars around. And every time I heard about, I ran into this group of people, they were all cool, but this one guy was an asshole. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you, and that's out of like 4 or 5 people, but I'm going to tell you, those were all stories about a group of white people.
Mm-hmm.
And I met a large group, an entire movie cast of black people. I mean, grips, hands, everybody, even the white people in the background. And everybody was cool. There was one guy that was a dick. There was one actor that was a dick. And by the way, coincidentally, he was a comedian. And he was the biggest dick there. So, but everybody else, every single one of them, awesome, sweet, kind people.
I worked at an amusement park, and I won't say who, but there was an actor who I swore either came with a minor or she was like 18 by 3 days. Okay, so Santi told me this story a year ago. I still tell people this story about Busta Rhymes that Santi told me. I still tell people this story because that's messed up. That's messed up. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about Mickey Mouse, man. I hear you, Mice. I hear you. But Santi, the strong, sexy sane, says Florida was an awesome person. And I said that right? The white person that doesn't listen to rap. Did I say it right?
He does a lot of sit-ups and push-ups and walks around with his shirt off. That's what I remember of Florida.
Florida. I thought it was kind of like Florida, play on Florida and lowrider.
You know what? I speak Spanish and I still pronunciate everything. So don't feel bad. Like, especially with Spanish words. I get told all the time that I sound like a white person trying to speak Spanish. All the time.
Thank you, Santi.
That reminds me.
I got back up in the chat, bitches. That's right. Remind you of what?
Hi, Santi.
Jenny's like, hey, baby, how you doing?
They're reopening a lot of my old stores. And it's so sad. I'm getting emails from mom and pop thrift stores because they're like, "We miss you. Where have you been?"
That's funny.
Trying not to die from COVID, motherfucker.
Right? Hiding from the world because it's full of crazy people. That's what I'm doing.
Just tell them that your house is full. You can't find.
I double mask. I wear gloves. I say this every time. I'm not playing. And then I learned, I don't know if it was from Fauci or like somebody else was like, you should wear double gloves because once you touch something, you have to take those gloves off. And I do that depending on where I'm going. But now summer's coming.
Except
so I'm just
the latest of what they've determined, Will, is that COVID is so almost exclusively transmitted by air and droplet that the concern over touching surfaces and the likelihood of you catching it that way is just infinitesimally small.
It's slim to none, literally. Very slim to none. Yeah.
I never
and
say
thank you
this.
for that, Maya. Yes, they do get in a bubble.
I never
and
say
it would
this.
be comical.
And I love you both, but I'm gonna need a citation on that. I'm kidding. I hate it when people say that. I'm kidding.
I need proof to back up your claim.
No, I'm just, I want to tell you, like, I'm a hypo. I'm trying not to die from COVID. My lungs are this big, and I smoke. I need room for THC in my lungs.
There you go, Jenny.
Hey, Santi.
Hey, Santi.
How you doing, buddy?
Hi. How y'all doing?
Good.
Great, man.
You know, I'm not playing, man. I tell everybody your story about what you told me about Busta Rhymes because that really actually pissed me off.
Give it. I want to hear it.
Oh, okay. In Sawage, the oldest burger place is called. I used to work in Sawage, like right next to. I think it was called. It's not Mansion. It was a very popular club at the time. It's no longer there. This was in early. Like maybe 2012, and I was working at Cheeseburger Baby, right? The owner was a trans woman, right? That had a girlfriend called D-Rock, and we called her. He liked to be called Boss Lady, right?
Okay.
And I was working the graveyard shift, and we had one rule, right? Because we were super busy. Like there was always like we had famous people in there. What was the name of the guy that did Secret, undercover boss or whatever with the chefs? He died not too long ago. Bourdain or something like that. I
Oh,
can clear it
Anthony
up.
Bourdain.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. I
he's
met
a
him.
legend.
I met him there, and I was actually in an episode of that stuff. Like it's all made up, but whatever. And then that night, it was like a Saturday night. I was working midnight shift, and we have one rule: like first come, first serve, and there's no exceptions, no matter who you are. Like this one time, I had Beckham wait for a burger because he was last in line, and then this guy comes in, right? And he goes like, "Listen, I have somebody very important out there, so you got to rush this order." And I was like, "We don't do that." And he was, "Oh, but he's very important." And I see like a long, like a limousine car, like just sitting outside the door. And I was like, "No, you gotta wait." And then he orders, right? And he was ketchup and mustard on the burger. Condiments
Right.
come on the side. We don't put condiments on the burgers. It was like a thing that we didn't do, right? For anybody, no matter who you were, right? And so like I get the order, I make him like I didn't make him wait. They had to wait because they got there at the time that they got there. Like Busta Rhymes waited on the limousine. He didn't even come down until they took the order to the car, right? Not even 30 seconds later, like the biggest man I ever seen comes like furious, like flipping freaking tables. It's like slamming the slamming the counter, like yelling at everybody. Somebody better fucking excuse my language, put mustard in my fucking burger and ketchup. Or like, and I just look at him and I was like, sir, condiments come on the side. And he just started like going, "Oh, you fucking faggot!" I was like, "All right,
my God.
yeah." The boss lady comes down, machete in one hand, and gun on her hip, right? And she's like, "What's going on?" And like, obviously, we knew this guy was Busta Rhymes, so we're right there. And she's like, then she just goes like, "Who the fuck are you?" And she just kicked him out. She kicked him the fuck out. Like, and nobody put mustard and ketchup on his burger, and we actually put up a sign. Like, if you go today to Cheeseburger Baby, there's a sign that says, "Don't be a Busta. Condiments come on the side."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was like
awesome.
it was reported on like different like websites and stuff like that. Like the boss lady, she had like contacts with TV and stuff like that. So she was like all the reality shows in Miami, right? Like the tow trucks, the freaking like you name it, I deliver burgers to them. Like, and he was
That's
all
awesome.
fake. So she had like contacts, and she made a big deal out of it. She made a big deal out of it. As soon as she started hearing like the slurs, she just came down. Like, I was like, "I'm gonna chop somebody's head off." I really respect him. Like he was awesome.
I consider that semi uncurable. Like, everybody says things, but when someone's calling you faggot over and over and over again, that's how they really feel about you. There's no talking after that. Like, we don't have to be near each other. You can go on your way. I just don't associate with people like that.
Honestly, this is gonna sound.
Oh no! I understand.
This is gonna sound fucked up, but I don't care if people use slurs, really.
Yeah.
Because all I do is look at them and go, "Man, you are really ignorant. I feel bad for you. I pity you." And I do pity all of them if they're that close-minded. So they don't bother me. I'm just like, "Wow, man, you need to read a book or something. Like, read a book. I don't know. Learn something."
I'm Hispanic, right? And I used to be a headbanger.
No, are you?
Do the eyeliner.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Get out of here. No, kick back. No, kick him out.
Remember this guy? Oh, no.
Kick him out. There are no Hispanics allowed. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Santi, I thought you were Canadian.
Only when I'm in Europe.
Nice. Good comeback.
And I used to wear eyeliner and like spikes and everything. So I've been called every slur, like in Spanish and in English and some in Hebrew. Like, I used to hang out with a lot of Hebrews, and they have some slurs, so they don't bother me. But and I'm not a pushover. But Buster Rhymes is a
Yeah.
pretty big dude.
Yeah.
He's quite intimidating.
You're like,
No,
He's
he's
like, what
and
can I hit you
sorry,
with?
we don't put ketchup and mustard on that.
yeah, and he's gotten
Like,
bigger.
condom
over
is
the
on the
years.
side, sir. I will die on this hill.
I'd like to ask Maya in the chat a question. Maya, do you think Sandy looked good with eyeliner and stuff?
Why are you always trying to put makeup on people, Jenny?
That's why I love Jenny. She has never done that to me. Cheers.
There was only like, I don't know, there's never been a time where I was like fearful for my life, but in Las Vegas, shocker, there's a gay side of town. And so it's not rare if you're by yourself, it's not rare for someone to roll down the window and scream faggot or a group of drunk people to say something to you. There was one time I was staying in a hotel literally across the street from the gay area because I needed convenience. So I'm walking back to my hotel, and this car pulls up with a group of dudes. I'm looking for a brick, and they're like, "Hey, you're a faggot." And I'm looking around. I really thought I was gonna get jumped, but they were all talk. They, because I started barking like, "Oh, you want to do it? Let's go!" And they're like, they start counting each other like, "Hey, there's one of him and 6 of us. This guy knows something." They're like, "All right, let's go." It worked.
Hey, whatever works, man.
No, but most people like that are so fearful inside and so insecure. Honestly, I'm not even trying to be mean, but it's like it's I call it the problem of the micro P. People with the micro penises, they take it out on everybody.
Right.
Yeah, and they run
And
them back.
it's not even the micro penis thing. It's just people with low to no confidence. They start lashing out on other people.
What you're
True.
saying is that those people who go around yelling those things are, well, faggots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Like they're just jealous because I'm on the side of town that parties hard. They don't play. Like honestly, on that side of Vegas, man, they do not play over there. It is so much fun.
It's crazy. Back in the 90s, from 92 or 93 up until like 2000 something, my brother lived in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And he used to hang out in the gay district, and him and his other friends that were martial artists. And he was a 3rd-degree black belt. And he'd hang out in the district and walk the streets. And when somebody tried to do a little gang banging shit, gay banging, whatever you want to call it back then, they'd fucking jump them and beat their asses, like hospital, like put them in the hospital and beat their asses. Yep.
I kind of.
He said it only took like 2 years and it cut back a lot.
I
Like
kind of enjoy
like
giving
a quarter.
the straight people who are really hung up. I like giving them sexual creeps. It's so much fun to watch them squirm.
I never thought about it. I should have took my hot girlfriend with me and stood in the middle of the grocery store from where I grew up because we got harassed there. We went back to visit. I should have taken her right in the middle of the grocery store and just grabbed her hair and tipped her back and just gave her some tongue, really, kiss tongue,
There was
No, Theo, not Richard. My second to oldest brother. I have 4 brothers. Richard's the youngest. The second to oldest is a 3rd-degree black belt.
Small dick energy, huh? I need to rename micro P. Thank you. I will rename it.
Sorry about your small dick energy, bro. No, it's not the same. I just like penis. Sorry about your penis, bro.
I just like calling people when someone says to them, I'm like, "Ooh, you're a micro P." Sorry, I feel sorry for you. You can
I'm
tell.
telling you, man. I knew a guy that was 5 foot nothing, and he had blonde. He was good looking, and he was really stacked and muscular, but he was short as fuck. And he was my Pepsi rep. He came into the store I managed, and then eventually he came in on his day off. And so I'm walking outside, and he's getting out of his truck, and it's this jacked up ass Ford with 2 steps on it, and he had to still hop up into it to get to the second step. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Compensation." Yep. I made it up back then, and that was in 2002. I made that up. It's compensation. So I think I won. Yeah, I made it up first.
It's true. It is true. We always say the bigger the truck, the smaller the P. It's true. Yeah. especially around here. This is like the last bastion of Trumpville. It's really sad. There was a guy who had Trumpin' Ain't Easy on his truck.
No, it's not the last mountain. Today I went by a pickup truck, shiny as hell. It's never seen any work on it, right? With a big ass flag that says "Make America Great Again," impeach Biden. And I'm like, you need a reason, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Damn it.
We don't care.
You're
We
jumping
don't
a
care.
couple
We don't like him.
steps.
So just impeach him.
You can't just start saying shit and expect it to happen, you know? That's
Tubian. Oh my God, I've said this so many times, dude.
Oh, yes.
You know, they had you know how the Disney pulls like the movies off the shelf and they'll remaster them and they put it back out and they'll put like new artwork on the cover, make it a little bit more newer, modern, fancy, cuter, whatever they want to do. Well, they had done that with Cinderella, and this Cinderella DVD was sitting in our house for like 2-3 years, and then the Christians wanted to pull because Cinderella's castle looked like a penis. None of us even noticed.
Get out.
None
Get
of us noticed. They had to
out.
rework. They had to redo the artwork and reproduce it. Yeah.
I think it was actually The Little Mermaid, and I actually have the VHS that has
No,
it.
it
Literally,
was-
there's a
well,
dildo
maybe-
on
maybe
the
there
castle
too,
for The
but-
Little Mermaid.
Maybe.
No,
I'm
we
looking in the
have
rafters.
Oh,
uh,
it was
VHS.
the castle in the on the top, the imprint.
Yeah,
This-
well,
You're
no,
right,
it had,
that's
like
what
the
it
little
always
was.
makes
the
the
dildo
filthiest
on
face.
there.
You're right.
I-
It did kind of. It looked phallic. Yes, it
I
did.
And then,
guarantee you.
Funny that nobody I knew that was not a Christian ever noticed.
Because no one's looking.
I asked people, "Did you know?" They're like, "No." Who looks
And
at
there was
that?
the
I'm like, "I know."
Well, in the Lion
love
King,
the
like in the Mufasa scene, it says sex on the clouds. They had to like
I have that.
remaster that.
I have that copy.
Like it's
Um,
like Disney sneaks the filthiest things into their movies.
no,
Like
okay.
it's-
So someone got fired for this one,
Theo.
but in The Rescuers, there's actually a scene where they're flying past some windows, and when you look into a window, there's actually legit pornography in like one second.
Yes.
Like it's like 2 frames of you literally see titties and straight up porn in one of the windows.
On what?
In The Rescuers.
The Rescuers.
Like someone got
Weren't they the
fired
rats?
over
Chip and
The
Dale?
little small people.
The
I
mice-
have that.
the
I
mice
have
with the
Yeah,
UN,
chipmunks.
like they had the little
Yeah.
mock UN. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
there's straight up porn frames in that film,
Dude,
and
I've
a
watched that a
motherfucker got
couple times.
fired over it.
I never saw that.
Yeah, because it's so quick.
Because you had to stop it.
I'm telling you, they like watch
somebody
kids
took the
stuff
time
and
to
go.
watch it frame by
Anybody see-
frame.
Anybody see Penis for JJ?
I'm
Anybody?
so old.
Anybody?
I'm so old. I have the
Did you go to church
rescuer.
all day?
I have the rescuer Christmas ornaments.
Check the windows.
Don't be jealous because yours is an acorn. That is the best, smallest thing I've ever heard of for a penis. Thank you, Randy.
No,
Write that
it's
one
true.
down too, Will.
I'd like to. I'm writing down what Theo said.
Yeah,
That's
I know, right?
hilarious.
What's more manly than that? I mean, it's all men.
No,
It's all hair and nuts.
like I've said, I've tried to scale back certain things I say because there's certain people I trigger and they start sending me DMs, and I'm telling you, like if a man talking about being bi scares you, then maybe you need to look in the mirror and look less at me.
Right?
Maybe and welcome is what I also say. Welcome to the.
And you know what I don't get is I can
Welcome
see
to the fold.
so I can see a guy that's really homophobic, not saying anything, and then if a guy hits on him, kind of freaking out a little bit, not being a total dick, but being like, dude, no,
Yeah.
I can see that. But just outright saying shit to people like, dude, I wouldn't even hit on you. Don't be a dick to me. You know what I mean? Like, gay men have standards, man. You're not
Oh,
going to
yeah.
hit on every goddamn swinging dick in a bar because you're a dude. Most of you are grungy and nasty and don't
I
fucking
was-
clean your hands after you go pee.
I was
They're
just
not.
about to
They
say.
don't want you.
Yep. If you come to LA, you can always tell I want to say the real, like you can always tell when there's a gay man because he's extremely buff. All his clothes are perfect. His shoes are perfect. His
Hell
hair
yeah.
is perfect.
Press
know,
lines. Yes.
And they're like gym buff or jail buff, whichever way you want to call it,
And
So-
then that
You
same,
realize that's a stereotype, right?
No,
South
I
Beach,
live in
used to
LA
work
though.
right next
I live in
to-
LA. That's every other person, Jenny. Sorry, Sandy.
No, it's fine. I was just like going off of what you said because I used to when I worked in South Beach, I used to work next to Palace, and Palace was a gay/bar restaurant with drag queen shows on the hour, right? And there was no one guy there that was not ripped. Like the like it's. And then you see, like on the other side, you have the beach and the tourists, and you see like the beer
Yes.
god and the ball guys. You know, no offense, Will. Like you're not that kind, but
Hey, the pelons
and
are
you see, like,
beautiful.
yeah, and you're never gonna see them like crossing over. You always see the older ones coming like, "Oh, don't hit on me." And it's like they're like, "We wouldn't dream of it. Think your beer god over there."
Right. It's just like the straight chicks that are like nasty, hoary straight chicks, and they think that the lesbians want them. We're like, no, you look like someone just fucked you all the time with a big cock. No, I'm not interested in that. I don't want no. There's a small portion of every crowd that is an exception to the rule. But for the most part,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I
Thank you,
have
Sam. Yeah.
Hi, Sammy.
I've developed
Hey,
like a
Snap.
there's several
Let him
phrases
talk.
that I find myself
Let him talk.
repeating more than is probably healthy, including "Oh no, don't worry, I have standards."
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a beautiful comeback.
Yes, I have standards. Well, you just made it sound better than what I was saying, but yeah, that's what I was saying. We all have standards.
These, like, I get a lot
Leave
of
it
weird
to Sam to
messages
be
from-
classy. Well, we're trying to be raunchy here.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of
I'm not
classy,
trying to be raunchy. It just comes out like this, Santi. There's no trying to it.
speaking of classy, I loved your premiere today. That godless sewing guy is really hot. I loved your premiere on your
He
channel today.
really looked good in that hat, like super duper sexy.
Everybody
Yeah.
should go check it out.
Yeah, it was
Was a
a
great
lot
stream.
of fun.
I
Yeah,
think
it was great, guys.
the next couple episodes are going to start fights, so I'll get my DMs ready for that one too.
Oh yeah, they are gonna start fights, but I don't know if they're gonna DM you, Will, or if I'm gonna get a bunch of DMs.
Yeah, exactly. They'll go
Both.
look for you first.
I call both almost equally.
Well, I hope both.
I
No
need
one ever
something.
really just randomly DMs me.
Let me know. Like, I'll fight a bitch on Twitter. I don't give a shit.
I'll tell you, it's entitlement, and it's not even. I don't even consider it race. I don't consider it anything. Entitled people want to be heard, and they will just keep DMing you if you make them angry enough. Doesn't matter what they label themselves. I don't care if you call them a narcissist.
See, you know what I do?
You
I
know.
just block and move on with my life. I don't even want to play with them. I just block. I'm done.
See, I feel like I'm still inexperienced enough that I want to have the fun of messing around with them for a bit before I block them.
Well,
That-
yeah, fair enough. If you're into
That's
that, do
what-
it. Yeah.
That is one thing where I'm like, hey, I still got it. These people are sliding in my DMs. I still got it. I consider myself. I always say, rode hard and put up wet. That's
Yeah,
a
rode hard and put away wet.
wet.
We used to say that when I was really little. We got that from the country folk out in
Yeah,
West
exactly.
Virginia.
Can somebody
I used
explain
to
that one
play
to me?
that.
My dad used to say that, like, I can't even say a nice way of saying that because I was raised by someone in the Navy. He would always describe lot lizards like that. Women of the evening that have seen too many evenings, or men of the evening, because we have men who stand on street corners here in LA too. It's
Oh, I'm
not
sure,
just
yeah.
women. And
Yeah.
the men, the
They're
men's
called gigolos.
their street is more popular than the women's street.
They're called cocksuckers.
Yeah.
And straight guys will pay for that too.
Oh, cruising is a real thing on Santa Monica Boulevard. The cops basically
straight guys.
they've let it go to the point where, like, it's known Santa Monica is where men are and Sunset is where women are. It's just known. Yeah, LA's a crazy. Well, prostitution should be legal. We wouldn't have people standing on the streets. Problem solved
Yep.
instantly. And all those abandoned buildings, people would be getting rich off of prostitution, so they'd be renting those buildings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like if you make
Red
sex
light
work
district.
legal,
That's what I
it-
said. Make it a certain area, protect it, let them have fun. They're
Yeah,
gonna do
if
it
you
anyways.
make
Might as well tax it, make some money off it for the city.
Yeah, you make sex work legal, you get an increase in the economy and more tax dollars to do shit with.
Especially here
Thank
in
you.
LA, we have large areas that are not near elementary schools. So we have all these abandoned buildings, all these really old industrial areas. Man, let people have cage fighting in there for all I care. If it's two people that sign off on it, let them do whatever they want.
Agreed.
I'm
Like you're
serious.
fighting.
Well, no, I'm more
Well,
about housing the homeless, but like we just have
well, we can also cage them and put them to fight.
in LA we have
Like,
over 200. It's insane here. It's just insane.
oh, here too. Like in Florida, if you go to downtown Miami, there's a lot of Hoovervilles. Like
Mhm.
all of downtown, like the Overtown area is just tent after tent after tent, and like you go 3 blocks there, and you have like the Miami Airlines Arena, and it's all freaking luxury, right? Like it's just such a disbalance.
That's crazy. See, that makes me so sad to hear that it's just homelessness is the new norm. And that's why it makes me mad that we're so distracted fighting each other over these just stupid things because they're trying to make us all homeless. It's like the 1920s all over again.
It's
Mhm.
tough to decide with homelessness because, I think the majority of the population would want to help people, but you don't know which ones are like drunks and druggies and living on the street so they can do their drugs or the ones that really need help. It's
Agreed.
hard to distinguish. So you give them cash and then you go, okay, let's see what you do with it. Damn, bought drugs. I was wrong that time. So I would help people if I had the funds. I do sometimes still. I know a guy on the street, he doesn't do drugs. He's not a drunk. He's just mad at the world. And he's come into my store and cussed me out when I was at CVS. And I saw him the other day and I gave him $5. I told him to be safe.
I would say I would help everybody, even if they are, dealing with substance abuse issues. But I shared it on Twitter the other day. Like, it really pissed me off and it really upset my mom. There was this guy, this homeless guy that hung out on the corner near where my parents live, and he didn't bother anybody. He didn't like panhandle in traditional sense. Like, he'd collect palm fronds that had fallen down and he would like weave them into like flowers or crosses or whatever. Yeah. Well, some guy came in from Texas for Bike Week and decided not to leave. And he made a Facebook Live post talking about how disgusting the homeless people are. And then they caught him on the traffic cam, turning his car around, lining it up, and mowing the guy down on the sidewalk. He actually bailed out of the car before it impacted, and then was shocked when he's in a hospital bed getting charged with first-degree fucking murder.
Yeah, it's so
and I'm
shocking.
like, how the fuck are you shocked? You literally just murdered a man in cold blood for no fucking reason. It's insane. It happened in Daytona Beach.
Now I gotta look up to see if we had an earthquake because all the things I have hanging in the garage are going like this. But it happens so frequently. All right, let's go to Cal. Dun, da, 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 to Caltech we go.
Like,
They have
wouldn't
a
you
size
notice if it was an earthquake?
The ground's constantly moving here. And
Um,
so it's kind of like Japan, but with less earthquakes.
Theo, when I was a truck driver, we used to get points off of buying fuel, and we bought it with the company car. We didn't pay for it. But you get pilot points, and you can get like sandwiches and free sodas and stuff. So I'd go in there with my points and get like a breakfast sandwich that was like $2 or $3. And I'd go walk outside and hand it to a homeless guy because it was free. I didn't have to pay for it. And I didn't need it. I had food in the truck. So, yeah, some of us do those things. More should. But, that was a long time ago, too. That was like 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, back in college, I used to pack an extra sandwich every day to give it to the homeless guy who sat outside the college gate.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I used to have this when I lived in Virginia. There was this lady that used to stand by the corner, and panhandling there was illegal. So they just like kind of stand there and chill and watch for cops. And when there wasn't cops around, they pull a sign out,
So I wasn't.
she was she was
That's my area. That red dot is where the earthquake was. See, I wasn't.
Oh. See, you felt that shit.
I have free hanging. So this is a California trick when you have like tchotchkes hanging, like on a rope or something. They don't move, but when your house starts moving, the tchotchkes start moving. You know. So if you hang something that's free hanging, it will let you know if there's an earthquake coming or not. It's actually.
See, I don't have that problem here. What I have is high winds that's been shaking my house during this entire stream.
Those are scary too.
But that doesn't bother me really. It hits the back end of my house, and even if it hit me sideways, it's not going to pick up this trailer. So
We
I don't
get
worry about it. But
Santa
it does.
Ana.
It will shake it sometimes. How many miles per hour are those? Because these here will go up to like 65. And
Yeah,
that's
we
a pretty big gust.
We get 50, 60 miles an hour winds.
Yeah.
And there was one recently that was so bad I thought the fan on my roof was gonna fly off because it was working. It was like it sounded like there was something wrong, but the metal was going back and forth because it was spinning so fast, so it had speed wobbles.
Yeah.
And you know, we rarely get weather like that around here. We're more scared of the ground than we are of the sky.
Right.
It's true. California
It's
will.
true.
I want to work out a pattern to be able to make a jacket that like can then fold out into a sleeping bag. Like it's something that I got the idea in my head and I was like, I want to do that because then, you know, it's something to keep them warm during the day and then it can fold out into a sleeping bag to help, you know, give them something, you know, to sleep on. So like basically a padded puffy jacket, but have a part of it that then like buttons down or whatever, like, and then folds around to make a sleeping bag. I know there's a way to do it. Like, cause I've seen
Like a cloak?
stuff like, no, not like a cloak. It literally like my son has this stuffed animal that it has like a little pouch
I already
in
figured it
and
out.
you can like
I already figured it out.
unroll it.
Are you ready?
Hmm.
Do a jacket with a lining that goes all the way up to the shoulders and the top like that, and then have it so it unbuttons from the inside and make it a longer coat, and then it can flip down and zip up.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna have to
And
work out
connect
all
to
the
the other
different
zipper.
panel
Yeah,
pieces
no,
to get
that
it
would
to
be
work.
easy. And you'd even have that
But-
square end. For your
But
Yeah.
see, the one thing about homelessness is, like, I was one of those people that I was living in my car and had a job, or I was homeless and had a job. You just have to appear to not be homeless. That's the thing. So you have to make it semi-inconspicuous, almost like a backpack, something that could be a triple threat: a backpack or a sweater or a sleeping bag. You know. Because that's the one thing about homeless people is that they get discriminated against because of the way they look.
My idea would still work, but it'd be very complicated.
And I agree. I 100% agree. But that was the whole.
Oh, there you go, Kitty. Randy says there's a company in Detroit that does that exact thing.
Oh, that's cool.
I always wondered why people don't freeze out there on the streets. Even in Oregon, I would look and be like, it's 12 degrees tonight and people are sleeping outside. Like, you know, that always tripped me out. Because in Cali, like, you know, we have fair weather.
Oh, Ox. What are we going to do with you? Because Maya said she'd like fist fight somebody, beat their ass if they said they loved Reagan.
Ronald Reagan was the worst. We all know he claimed he loved California, but his own policies helped destroy it.
I would say Reagan was worse than Trump and Bush. Like, honestly, because he set in motion policies that led to Trump. Absolutely, the wealth disparity, the fact that, you know, the poor keep getting poorer and the rich keep getting richer.
Mhm.
Like, Reaganomics laid the foundation for Donald Trump. Same thing with the whole, like, xenophobia and, you know, marginalizing people of, oh, you've got the welfare queens and you know, the big scary black men and, like, all the other bullshit that fucking Reagan and his ilk peddled that led to what we have today.
Ronald Reagans.
Ray guns.
That was a delicious dinner, though. I had steak and rice and
Hey, Kitty,
zucchini
shh.
and mushrooms.
We don't want to hear about your steak. I love steak. Don't talk
So
about
good.
steak.
And
I was
then-
actually thinking
Steak is good,
tomorrow.
but I have
I
noodles
like
again.
rice. Don't talk about rice.
a pot noodles. They're called pot noodles.
Yes,
So,
pot noodles.
I don't know if you guys have ever had hibachi, but you know, like that white sauce that they give you for dipping like your meat in at the hibachi restaurant, you know, where they cook on the table in front of you? Like they sell that at the store near us. And like I had the spicy version. So it's that delicious white sauce, but with a little bit of heat to it. And that's what I had all over my rice, veggies, and meat. It was delicious.
Now I'm hungry.
Swear to God.
I
Kitty, I will fucking meet you. I will
Now,
fucking
now
meet
You know
I'm
you
steak
love
with
me.
fun noodles.
I would disagree that all of our worst problems can be. I would disagree that all of our worst problems can be tied to Reagan. I'm as much as I despise the guy, I'm not sure we can tie the human spine's design back to him. Because have you seen the human spine?
I was talking about sociopolitical issues.
Oh.
I know. I was just being cheeky.
No, not you,
Right.
Sam. You're never cheeky. We don't know what to do right now. We love cheeky Sam. That's fine.
And then I think on Friday night, I think I'm gonna do chicken and dumplings for dinner. It's one of my favorite meals. Like it is legit. I have an Instant Pot, and the thing is amazing. Like, and I love chicken and dumplings. Like it's comfort food for me, you know. Like, and so that's what I want for dinner on Friday night. Some comfort food.
Sounds good. Sounds good. No, I've just been craving like a nice like New York strip or something that's thick and meaty. Thick and meaty. I want thick and meaty steak.
This
and
was a London
big
broil,
ass
Michael.
like fresh baked potato with a bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
fucking sour cream shoved in it, and salt and pepper and some chives, and I don't give a shit. Give me some chili maybe. I don't know yet. And some nice like perfectly steamed broccoli.
Ooh yeah.
Yes,
Maybe
salt
with
and
some
pepper
cheese
and
on the
butter.
broccoli.
No, just salt, pepper, and butter. Salt, pepper,
Really?
and butter.
Huh?
That's all you need, baby. That's all.
You lost me on the pepper, but I'll take you on the salt.
that's
But
all
no,
you
Michael went to Sam's and he picked up 2 big London broils for like cheap. So that was the meat that we had earlier.
Nice.
I'm a little concerned, B, that you want something thick and meaty. You know, it's kind of weird.
Hey, I've dated some chunky chicks in my life. I'm all right with thick and meaty.
And I mean,
Hey.
all labias look different. Some might be
true.
thicker and meatier than others.
Yeah, it's true.
Not
And
everyone's
maybe
gonna
not on
have
the
a
biggest girl
vagina.
either. I'm
Kitty
just
said
saying.
it first. I happen to agree. Kitty said
Yep.
it first.
I'm just saying, not everybody has the same vagina as a fucking doll. Like, you know,
Yeah.
invisible labia and
Yeah. What
Yeah.
Kitty
See,
said.
I had
I can
a
attest to
friend.
that. I've seen many of them.
I had a friend over earlier who would be aptly described as a thick girl, and it's like, the thing is that she, because she is aware of this, always feels like she's too big for whatever. But I will just like pick her up and spin her in a circle, and it freaks her the fuck out. And it's just sometimes, just because of a body type and then the stereotypes around it, people can be pleasantly surprised by just random shit.
Yeah.
Sammy, how tall are you?
How tall am I? I am 5'10", or if I wear my platforms, 6'3".
Oh,
No, that doesn't count.
But where are my platforms? 6'3".
Yeah, well, I will. The thing is that I will specifically wear my platforms because they make me look taller, and because they make me look taller, it allows me to pass as feminine more easily because I appear thinner.
You know, if I put on those platforms, Sam, I'd catch up with you.
I
Without
put
them.
those on. I
Without
put those
them.
on.
And here I feel tiny because I'm only 5'6".
I'm
Like
5'6" and a
5'6" and a half.
For
Like,
some
okay,
reason,
so B, you and I are like the same height.
I'm just, yeah.
I
I'm
pictured
short.
both.
I'm
I
short but
pictured,
mighty. I don't give a fuck.
I pictured both of you taller for some reason. I pictured both
You know,
of you
I'm
taller.
tiny.
Personality.
Tall as hell. I thought
And
you were
I
like
only wear a
6
size
something.
8.
Who?
Like between a 7.5 and an 8
You be?
for a shoe.
You're very
Me?
intimidating person.
Whatever. No, I'm not.
You have the aura of a giant.
You know what? Size is deceptive.
Oh my god!
I'm,
People tell me that.
Somebody
all the
up,
time,
man.
They tell me that.
For some,
When I first met you, I was intimidated by you. I'm like, huh? What? Oh, I was
see, for
intimidated
some
by you.
reason,
No, I'm sorry. I must have heard you wrong
Oh
twice.
dear.
I am the nicest person in the world. How can you be
Uh,
intimidated? Oh, me?
In an
Yeah, I
intimidating
would
way.
date me.
For some reason, I imagined
Yeah,
kind of
right. I get
everyone
in
in
their
this
face and
panel.
ask them about it.
What's that, Sam?
Why
For some reason, I
do you
like-
think I'm intimidated?
You motherfucker!
For some reason, I imagined everyone on this panel to be around like my height, give or take an inch.
So you and I are the exact same height, Sam.
Santi broke me.
Sorry.
So does that make us?
I never
the
thought
tallest?
about it, dude. Doing that is intimidating.
Santi, I'm all up in your business. How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Oh, we're all the same height.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, Sam's
Except for me
5'10".
and Penny.
Oh, okay. I'm 5'9". I wear
Yeah,
size.
Brady's
close,
5'9".
close enough. Close enough.
Well,
Tubi and Seti,
well
they're
by
7
Sam's
foot on a
rules, if I
ladder.
put my hair up, I'm like 8 feet.
I mean, most of the
That's the
time,
greatest.
the reason I pass comment on my platforms is that most of the time when I go outside, I'm wearing them. So most of the people who see me in the wild, that's how tall they see me as.
Thank you, Ox. Yes, see?
I used to have long hair.
It'll grow back.
I lost,
Back.
I lost over 18 inches of hair.
Ox is 6'2". Makes you all look
Jesus.
tiny. Tell him, Ox.
Ox, you're too tall. I'm sorry.
And then when
Get
he
out.
snorts and does this, you know to go. Run. Oh yeah, that's right. Tony's
I
like
used-
6'6" or 6'7" or something stupid, aren't you, Tony? I'm sorry, Titan. To you.
Nobody asked how tall I
6'4".
am.
I was trying
How
to.
tall are you, Jenny?
5'8".
I'm 4'8".
No, you are.
No, you are
Shut up.
not. No,
No,
you
you're
are
not.
Ugh.
Nope. Not buying it.
That's a
Okay,
lie.
5'2".
No. Try again. I'm not buying it.
Oh no! Stop it. 5'9".
That's probably more like it.
Shorter.
Five
I was
nine
going
is
with
an average.
5'8", but I'm only an
I
inch
used
off.
to be
That's pretty good
5'10".
for only seeing somebody sitting down.
5'9" is the average height around the world.
I mean, in reality, I am like my legs are significantly longer than most people, so I look really short when I'm sat down.
My legs are just long enough to reach the ground. Fortunately.
Tubi, and you are not 4'1". Nobody's 4'1". Are you really?
No, I had
Are you really?
I had two ex-girlfriends.
Tell
one,
me now. No, I'm kidding.
One was five.
Wait,
One was
See
5'1".
what I mean?
No, I had an ex-girlfriend from El Salvador. No, she was half Salvadorian, half
Oh.
half Honduranian.
Honduranian.
She was
Woo!
5'1".
Honduran.
That's a mouthful.
Honduran.
Is
I
she
think
a
it's
mouthful?
Honduran.
It's
Oh.
my West Coast. It's my West Coast accent.
Honduran.
Oh, she'd punch you in your mouth. She was this tall. She was a hobbit. Sitting down, I could do
You have
her
hairy
height.
feet.
Yeah.
Ow.
But she
Yeah,
was
but
older than.
Hondurans. Like they're like this tall, but they're full of fire.
Oh, she was
My
half
stepmom is from
Salvi.
Honduras.
She was half Salvi too, so she would
Ooh.
take no shit whatsoever.
Chris's mom is like 4'11", and she used to be like a pro bodybuilder. Like she's a Puerto Rican woman, and she's got like a lot of fire. Like
Oh, I
that
bet.
woman scares me.
Yep.
You don't piss off anybody of Hispanic descent or Italian descent. None of those women do not do it.
Oh, I know.
My
My
grandmother's
mom.
maiden name
Do
was
not.
Bavetti. She was half Irish, half Italian. She'd
Because-
fuck somebody up too.
Right? See now, because some black women can go off, but like all the Hispanic women will go off. All of them.
My grandma was 4'11",
Like
and she,
Yeah.
Santi's just nodding.
4'11", and she built bombs in World War II.
I had 6 Hispanic sisters, so I can tell you they're all
Santi,
fire.
are you
all
on Twitter?
Hispanic?
Am I on Twitter? Yes,
Do you follow me on Twitter?
I'm pretty sure I do.
I think you
Okay,
guys
I'm
are in
gonna
the same groups together
Okay,
too. I'm
well,
pretty sure.
all right, then I need to find a group that we're in, or I'll DM you. Like a video that I saw, it made me laugh so hard I had to send it to Chris. Let's just say that somebody pissed off a Hispanic woman, and they got the
It happens. It happens a lot in Latin America.
Oh. It's just, dude, I thought she was gonna break her arm. She was beating him so hard with that sandal. Like it was intense.
Well, I'm not gonna.
Let me see if I
I'm
can
not
find
gonna
it.
say names.
All you have
but
to do is look up like Mexican or Puerto Rican or something like that. Mom mad on YouTube. Just do that. You'll see some crazy shit.
I'm not gonna say names, but like I have a bit of experience dating Hispanics, because my dating pool. But like this one time, I pissed off a Peruvian lady, and I came back to my house. Every extension cord, like from TV, Xbox, charger, whatever you can think of, was chopped into little pieces.
Damn
She
right.
didn't break anything else. She just cut all my extension cord. I had to
Because it's a
replace
pain in
all
the
my
ass and
electronics.
expensive to replace, and she knew it.
Oh.
Yep.
It's easy to
Everything.
do.
Computer
Heartbreak.
cables, the speakers. You think of it, like the only thing she smashed was my remotes, my remote controls, like the
really
for
liked
the
that
TV, not
TV,
even the
didn't
Xbox
you?
ones.
She was jealous
Yeah.
of the TV.
Because women think and men don't.
Yeah, I went to work like nothing ever happened. Like
Hell,
I just
no
came back and oof.
She thought about it.
Oh,
And then a
yeah.
guy will
Women clan.
exactly. A guy will just come in and
We don't think about
do
it.
some hope.
They
do
think
some
about
hope
it,
move.
and we will never forget.
Damn right.
Yeah, you're right. A guy would come in and be like, ah, and throw something,
Oh.
get mad, slam the door, and leave. And the
Right.
woman's like, watch this, bitch. I got a plan.
Yeah, you drive off and
Yeah.
you drive off and your tires fall off your car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I told you about the 4 nails. That
Yes.
shit works. That way they're up the road a ways and you're out of your driveway when they go flat.
That's why I'm still thinking someone sabotaged my car. I still think someone sabotaged my car. Cost me $500 to get new tires, and that was the homie price. That was like, I go to the tire shop and this guy was like, "Hey, are you Mr. Sewing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, you were so awesome to me in high school." And I was like, "Thank you that I was nice to the tire guy in high school."
Thank God I was nice to all the idiots that were going to go to college.
No, because I stood
Better
up.
deal with my service.
I stand up for injustice. Like if I see someone
No, I
picking
know,
on
I
someone,
know.
I'm gonna even if I get my own ass kicked, I'm gonna say something.
Yep.
You know, and
I have a
so
bad habit of doing that.
like he charged me $500 flat with no tax, and the tax would have been on another $100-something bucks.
Damn.
You know, and so
Nice.
I was like, "Thank you for the homie price."
Why it
Thank-
fucking pays to be decent to people.
It
Like,
sounds like he sold it to you at cost.
He just remembered. Well, you know, it's not like my last name or face has changed, and I recognized him from high school because we relatively looked the same. And
I
he
don't
was like,
care who you
"Oh."
are, I'm charging full retail.
It was no. He's not hurting for business. He's not hurting at all. Especially if he's still open during COVID. Most places are out of business because they can't afford rent around here. Because you know,
I bet.
most like it's so sad. Places that have been here for 40, 50 years are gone. All like most of the Thai restaurants are gone. This one Filipino, it was a Filipino market, but it was a smaller one. We have one that's a chain now, but they made all food from the Philippines. It was the greatest stuff. It's gone. It's been there forever, you know.
Right.
The dry cleaning place that has been there for over, I think, 60 years is going out of business. It's sad times right now. Unless you have millions of dollars, people are not surviving right now. You know.
Well, there you go. The corporations are doing fine, and the little guy's hurting again.
Yeah.
It's
Again.
just a shame that landlords are too stupid to realize that, look, you put all these people out of business because of the rent you're charging and expecting during COVID. And you think you're going to get somebody in to cover that rent now?
I know,
Yeah,
right?
The economy is
I'm
fucked.
going to kick this guy out. I'll get somebody else. Oh, there's nobody else that needs a rent. That's because everybody's poor. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people,
Oh, man.
they're not looking. No one looks at the bigger picture anymore. It's all about me, right now. How much profit?
Like, can you imagine if every landlord just dropped their rent, like for the higher end shit, by like $200 a month? What that would do to help people, and they would keep their goddamn residents.
There's a house on the end of my block that's for sale, and it's letting us all know our property value. I'm like, oh yeah. I hope they get that money because that means everybody else around here is going to get that money too. My whole point is because of the value, you know, this is a hardworking middle class neighborhood, but the price has gone up because there's an elementary school. I'm close to a freeway. You know, I'm in prime real estate.
Right.
Someone came driving a Ferrari yesterday. And I came looking, I said, is that a real Ferrari? What the F? And I mean, this thing looked like a jet. And, you know, I know, Santi, you're from Florida. You're used to seeing those things. We only see those in Hollywood. We only see them in Hollywood, like Orange County. Like, we see more BMWs around here.
For me, like I work in Southwich, like, they were as common as freaking Hondas. Like whatever you can think of, like Lamborghini, Ferraris, like those what's the name of those expensive motorcycles? The Ducatis?
Ducati. Yeah.
All the time. Like,
yeah, but you know what? You don't even need a Ducati unless you're going to go overseas. You're not even allowed to go fast enough here.
Yeah, exactly.
Traffic doesn't go fast enough for you to survive on a Ducati. You have to be able to survive on a Ducati and really crank it.
If you're in Miami, like you will ride that thing. Like everybody goes here on the highway like 120. Like they go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's insane. Like if you try to go the speed limit here, like anywhere in Florida,
they'll hit you in the ass.
Like in the highway, yeah, you can't.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I lived in Orlando for 3.5 years.
I've been to Miami.
Fuckers there are crazy.
Can confirm.
We used to, after work at night, we used to get on I-4 and race down the fucking highway together for like 10 miles. There was this one part that goes through the city and it kind of does this. And it's not too crazy, but it's just curvy enough that it's fun.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly.
We used to, yeah, you do know, don't you? And we used to, and I think at the time I was living in Altamont Springs or Lakeland or something like that. So I was I was going back and forth to Disney and all kinds of shit. So yeah, but we used to get on the highway at night. We'd be flying down the fucking highway, and it's like 55 through there or something. It's low speed limit through there. And we'd be going like 100.
There's a meme here.
The only speeding.
There's a meme here that says like, "This is the only place where people will say like, follow me," and then get on the highway and go like 120.
Yeah,
like it's like,
that's true.
You have to catch up.
Floridians are crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking true.
Oh yeah. And I hate speed. I hate speed. Like if the car goes fast, I'm a wreck on nerves. Like I need somebody driving. Like lucky for me, all my friends were metalheads, right? And they were into like muscle cars and stuff like that. So I was always in a fast car, but with like my eyes closed and clutching to the thing.
Oh no, dude! When I was an EMT, I remember several times that they were like, "Come on, we gotta go." Man, give me those keys, baby. I'll drive this fucking ambulance. After being a truck driver over the road for like 8.5 years, an ambulance is fun. It was fun. And I remember like flying up on the ramps on the highway. I was on the ramp going onto the highway where it was 65 or 60. And I was going like 85, 90 on the ramp before I got to the fucking highway. And they were like,
that sounds amazing yet terrifying.
I was with my ex because she was a paramedic, actually, this time I'm talking about. So I was with her and she's like, well, don't wreck us. And I was like, nah, babe, I got this bitch. I was like, and the whole ambulance is tilted and I'm going around the corner. But I tell you what, I got us there so fast. I mean, we were there so fast. We beat the city there. We were farther away than the city was. It was pretty good shit. But now I love driving fast.
You function
what
well
I don't like,
I don't.
What I don't like, and I won't do, is drive crazy with someone in the vehicle with me. After that shit that happened to my mom, if I want to go out and get stupid and kill myself, I'll do it on a motorcycle out in the middle of the country somewhere where there's nobody. But I won't put anybody else in harm. I won't do it in the cities.
Also, something I won't do. I won't I won't ride a motorcycle. Like I love motorcycles. I love looking at them. My dad has a Harley. My older brother has a Harley. I like looking at them. I'm not getting on that thing.
I think we need. I think we need another Jenny in our life too. Is not enough.
I am very in pain, so I think I'm gonna go.
Oh, Sam, go, honey.
I know. I was going to
Hope
ask
you
you
feel
how you're
better.
doing.
Go rest, babe.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Go rest. Go
Yeah.
smoke a little. Do what you gotta do. Drink a little. What, Jenny? Why do we have two of you?
Because you can't get enough of me.
I mean, it's true. It's true. Will tells me that all the time.
Absolutely. B, that was in private, B.
Oh, sorry, honey.
Here's what Olaf's gonna look like once the
I
iron him
forgot
on.
you're retired.
Awesome.
I just
Awesome.
figured
Nice.
I figured I'd just come on a second time because none of you are listening to me the first time, anyways. So
Oh,
That is naughty.
quiet.
So am I the only one that's going to say it? State the obvious?
go ahead.
Say it.
We got a Santy sandwich.
Oh!
well, we have it on
Sorry,
Stream
my
Yard,
mind
not
is-
on YouTube.
If you will, Jenny's the bun and Santi's the
Oh, no,
hot.
yeah.
Exactly.
Ah! Get a little
And Will's the
Santi
cheese.
salami going on
Always.
over here.
Always.
He's
Captain
Toast
Cheese.
the cheese.
Oh, and add an S to it. Now it's gonna be Santi, the strong, sexy, sane salami. It's gonna be
You know,
fine.
Santi,
Oh,
there's,
Santi,
love
I think
salami.
yeah.
Santi, there's only one way we're going to bring this to an end. You know what it is, don't you? We're going to have to meet in Kentucky.
I've seen that movie. John Wayne wins the war.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Randy.
I don't want to. I don't want to get pieces chopped off.
You know, Randy, I'm gonna
There's
tell you,
no
I
me
was
do
on,
there.
I was on my motorcycle a few years back in Ohio, and you know, we don't even have like ravens like we do out here. Like, there's big ass birds out here. Ravens, they are big. They're like that. Besides their wings, they are huge. Anyway, so we had good sized crows. You know, the
I'll
standard
be right back.
sized crow. And I was driving down the road, and one flew in front of me and hit my boot. And I was only going like 62 or 63, and it knocked my foot right off of the peg, man. So I can't imagine what a deer did to somebody. That would fuck somebody up.
Like I said, they're fun and like they look amazing and they're amazing machines. But you know, like your head is the
Respect.
bumper in a motorcycle. Like, I
Yeah,
respect that.
you got to show respect. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to be careful.
I can't like. I'm too old to learn to ride them now. Like I will like I will ride like I will ride bitch with my dad, but other than that, no.
I watched the guy get hit in the head with a turkey.
Ooh, Fabio. Oh, that was a goose. Never mind.
Fabio.
No, he was in an open cockpit race car, and it took him like a month, 6 weeks, but he finally died from it.
Damn.
Yeah,
I was in high school when Earnhardt went into the railing at the Daytona 500.
Yep.
I remember that clearly.
My aunt was in a restaurant where he had, he was eating, and this like little 4-year-old kid or whatever, decked out in all Earnhardt gear, saw him and went up to him and was like, Mr. Earnhardt, can I have your autograph? I'm your biggest fan. And fucking Dale Earnhardt cussed the kid out right there in the restaurant.
Seriously?
I'm like, I can understand if it was an adult, because like you should respect somebody's ability to eat a meal, but it's like I can't even eat a fucking meal without somebody coming up and fucking.
I mean, it's a
pestering
little
me.
kid.
But it's a little kid.
Aw.
Literally made the 4-year-old kid cry.
That's inhuman.
It is.
It's just like it's one thing if it's an adult. Like if it's an adult, I'm like, all right, fair play. The adult should know better. But when it's a little kid, nah, fuck you.
Maybe he deserved to die. Earnhardt was nobody deserves to die, but Earnhardt was known for scuffing safety gear and that sort of thing. There was
Really?
there was a piece of safety gear that had he been wearing it, he would not have died.
He lost. One of the reasons he. Sorry.
It's called the Hans device, and it keeps your head on your spine.
So
You know what? They made it sound like that wasn't enforced as much until he died. That's how the news and media made it sound.
Well, it's true. NASCAR did not enforce it, but the device was widely available and well known to be highly protective against having your head sucked off your spinal cord, which is how he died.
All right. So Dale
that's lovely.
Earnhardt Sr. was kind of a failure, and he gets remembered for winning the Daytona 500 because he failed like 19 or 20 times, some outrageous amount of times, and everybody remembers his last W. He was a complete a-hole. His son was his redeemable quality. When his son started racing, you saw, okay, he's a father who loves his son because he started backing his son. He even sponsored his son's car against him. You know, that's how much he loved his son. But if you crossed him, he was a complete a-hole. And the only reason I'm all schooled up on it because I just watched a documentary about him like 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
what a
but
coincidence.
He was a complete a-hole, but he loved his son. You know, so because his dad was more about racing, and like he never got to race with his dad. He went out of his way to make sure that his son could race with him.
That's cool.
But if you got in his way, he was a tornado. I'm wearing a Richard Petty shirt.
Very good.
I thought you were wearing a Richard Petty shirt, by the way. I thought that's what that was.
When I was a little kid, we used to go to Fontana to the races, and like no one said anything to me or my family, and we stuck out at NASCAR races. But it's California, you know. We had a speedway in my town. Now I just look at it as a bunch of guys driving around in circles. When I was a little kid, it was exciting when you're there, you know. And like,
I'm gonna tell you,
I don't get it.
I have the best naps when they're doing a fucking NASCAR race.
And that's
that constant woo, woo. I'm like, oh, it knocks me right out, man.
When I was a kid,
I used to fall asleep trackside during races. I worked safety team, so I'm literally right next to the track.
And you fall asleep?
And I would fall asleep. Yeah, it's just
I fall asleep to hockey.
I mean, like, I get that they're going fast, but it doesn't look very challenging. It's just like they just turn left like 500 times. Like,
okay, I'm going to.
It actually takes a lot of body strength.
If all four of us got on a track,
I spent my life in cars and racing and all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to defend NASCAR this time. It is, yes, it's a fairly boring type of racing. Yes, there's lots of accidents, and those are fun to watch as long as nobody gets hurt. But unfortunately, people do. But I do like seeing the rich people lose lots of money on each crash. To be a NASCAR driver, you have to be able to be in a car that in the summer is going to be running 120 to 150 degrees in the cockpit. Yes, they have tubes with air that passes through and blows on you a little bit, but they're not allowed to use any kind of air conditioning, that sort of thing in NASCARs, unlike some of the other European racing. And you're going to be doing that for 3 to 4 hours at 200 miles an hour peak, about 180 or so average. You're going to be 6 inches away from the guy next to you, in front of you, and in back of you. And you have got to be absolutely alert and accurate in everything you do for that entire span of time. You don't have what it takes to do that. Okay, I guarantee nobody.
Oh, I guarantee nobody on this panel can do that.
I understand. Like it takes a lot of professional skill to turn left at that speed.
And that includes me, who's experienced at driving on track. My races were only 20 laps on like 4 or 5 mile course, and I was absolutely beat to shit by the end.
Really?
Oh yeah.
These guys, that's 20 laps, not 500.
These guys are genuine athletes, and
why do you have to do 20? Like, why do you have to do 20 laps? Can they just do like once and then pick a winner?
No, because shit happens.
Like, why put your body through that punishment?
Part of racing,
that's the point.
How fast you can drive, it's how well you drive and how well you can build a car.
It's kind of like guys that go on marathons and they just get their own ass beat for like 16, 18 hours straight. It's the same thing, only they're driving a car. It's like a marathon. Because if you start getting tired, you start getting weak, you're not controlling that car as well. You will wreck and you will lose.
I watch the Tour de France every year. Tour de France is the same way.
To build an engine,
you're-
and a chassis to be able to tolerate 500 miles at maximum speed, at maximum performance, and at the very edges of the envelope for that long is an amazing feat to do. Look how many people are in racing, and they're all amateurs because they can't do it. It takes something really special. It's not just money; it's the physical skill of being able to build an engine, to measure everything, to see the future of a part, to understand.
Oh wait, so the driver builds the car?
No, but the crews do, and that's part of it. It's a team effort. Racing is not the driver. Racing is the team. The drivers just get the PR. They're the
Okay.
least important thing in the whole operation.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you don't have a good pit crew, you might as well hang it up.
yeah, because they have to know your car and how to
They
put
have
it
to
back
be
together.
on point, and they have
Change
to have a
4 tires
practice
and
routine.
fill you with 25 gallons of gas in 7 fucking seconds.
7 seconds.
Okay?
You know, that's the only thing about NASCAR I find interesting at all. That those pit crews and they work. Some of them work a little different, but basically the same. But some of them have like little different things they do or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, the way they form and come around, and they're like, and they work so in sync. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing.
They raise and drop a car within 6 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. They for the time
I-
the car stops to the time it takes off again, it'll be like 7 seconds. And,
And-
you have
and-
to account for the second for them to get there and the second for them to step away.
And big disclaimer: all NASCAR races I've been to, I have never been to any NASCAR races outside of the state of California. I'm not that brave. So I've been to quite a few NASCAR races, but they've all been in the Los Angeles, Long Beach, or Fontana area.
What I enjoy most about NASCAR is I do find their races rather boring. Making 4 turns to the left is geez, that's not exciting. But they finally have branched out and come to road circuits. That's what I drive. To see them the first year they came to Road America, the course just absolutely chewed these guys up and spit them out. It destroyed their cars. It just literally, their cars getting with their back ends that were getting ripped out because of the terrain and the turns. And
Are you talking about funny cars?
no, I'm talking about NASCAR race vehicles.
Oh, okay.
You know,
NASCAR has a bunch of different divisions now.
yeah, they just couldn't keep up to the torture of a dead serious road car.
That's
America's
awesome.
4 miles. It's longer than anything they drive, and it was just they
Well,
just couldn't. They've gotten better now, and cars at least hold up to the task. But for a few years, it was just absolutely comical to watch these guys try to drive as good as we do.
An MG midget. I know exactly what car that is. Now you have to tell me what year you had. My dad was into Jaguars and shit like that. And then after they had like the 3rd or 4th kid, my mom was like, "Nah, man, you got to get rid of this car." So he took it down the highway and did something he always wanted to do. He took it down the highway. He was going like 60 some odd miles an hour, and he pulled the fucking emergency brake to flip it around. And he dropped the transmission out of it and had it towed to the dealership and came back with a station wagon.
Oh, have a heart attack.
That's how he went out with the Jaguar. But then my sister married my sister married a guy who loved MGs, and he had a really fucking cool MG, man. And I almost actually bought one when I went in the Army.
Tractor engine.
Like right before I left, I found one for $1,000, and it was fucking beautiful.
I had
It was old. I'll have to look it up to see if I can figure out what year that was.
I had a burgundy.
You guys make me wish I knew about cars.
It was a burgundy T-top Grand National. And that thing got me in more trouble. And it had it was like a wannabe IROC Z.
You had the Buick Grand National with the V6.
Oh, that thing got me in so much trouble. I'd get pulled over I'd go flying past the cops at the speed limit, but that car just looked faster than everything else.
That was a hell of an engine in that car.
Oh, it was so gangster. I loved that car. If I ever have money to waste and find one, I will buy one and restore it. I loved that car. It was so much fun driving around, even more than the Granada I had, because the Granada was the end of like old metal cars. It was a piece of junk, but I could. That thing was like a bulldozer. And that's the best thing. to give a dumb kid when they first learn to drive is you give them an old school car that's all metal.
Yeah, right.
And they, out here, sadly, I had quite a few friends that died to drunk drivers or just bad driving in general from like freshman year on. That's what happens when, you have large amounts of people that drive. It's almost inevitable,
In
And in party cities.
True.
cars are so much better today than they
All
were
right, Sandy, I got you.
decades ago. I remember when I was a kid reading in the newspaper, they would report how many deaths on Wisconsin highways so far this year. And by the end of the year, there'd be like 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 people dead.
That's crazy.
Just in Wisconsin. And these days, that death rate is down to like 400, 500. That's how much better cars and roads have gotten since I was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah, they still drive like shit, but the cars and roads are so much better.
Right. Ox, I can't even fit in an MG. Tried it one time. Two guys to help me get back unstuck.
That's like at 5'9". At 5'9", I'm not Porsche. I'm like this much too tall for a Porsche. I have to take my boots off.
Yes, Sandy, I remember you telling me that. That's why I was nodding. Yes, I remember.
I was offered by a guy to take his Formula One car out on Road America.
Oh, that's awesome.
Formula One cars can do that 4-mile circuit in about what is it? I think the record is like it's less than 2 minutes. Okay, and we're talking 14 turns and uphill and downhill. Those are fast and
flying like real life flying.
So I'm just wetting my pants and I'm going to go drive a Formula One car, and I go to hop in, and my hip wouldn't fit in the driver's seat.
I'm telling you though. Oh, Aunt Jer and I had the same car. Mine was baby blue with TARDIS blue seats. It was baby blue on the outside with like the most navy blue seats you've ever seen, and they kind of glowed because it was that weird vinyl. My dad was OCD, so it was well taken care of.
Here, I'm gonna show you guys this. I found a car like this. It was damn near in mint condition, and this fucker. You guys go. Oh, there you are. I killed it. My screen just did some weird crap. Anyways, let me try it again.
You're so much more brave. I'm always scared to click off.
Oh, let's see the puppy.
The second time I was on the internet was with Godless Granny, Kitty, and Junie, and I did something towards the end where I clicked off and I didn't know what I did, and I took myself out of the stream. And the whole time I'm like F until I found my way to click back in. So I don't mess around anymore.
What are you doing?
Oh, GT350.
It's a
Beautiful car.
fastback. And I found this when the paint job wasn't quite anymore, and it had like the basic. And the guy held to me for $1,000 because he was so desperate for money.
Wow, should have bought it.
And that's what I would have been driving if shit hadn't happened.
A legitimate restoration on remember the Barracuda, the 6-pack Barracuda? We had 3 2-barrel carburetors.
Hey, Richard.
Monster engine. They were real popular in that bright green and red. Those things. A friend of mine works at a muscle car restoration shop, and they did one and got $150,000 for it.
Oof. That's Ford Fairlane prices right there.
Yeah,
That's
right.
like it. We have this thing in the Pickers Wood where we're like, if you find a Ford Fairlane, you're gonna retire because they're so
Yeah,
rare
right.
nowadays.
It's true.
I've seen
though.
crazier. I've seen crazier with my ex-father-in-law who recently passed. He was a good guy. He's the one that got me into picking lockers, and we went half on a locker. We opened it up.
Sorry.
We opened it up, and there was a trailer with 6 Sea-Doos and the keys.
Oh, shut the front door.
His
You get like
ex-wife.
25 to 3,500 for one of those, easy.
We split
Well,
up. I ended
no.
up. You know what? I'll tell you. Sea-Doos are motorcycles on the water that constantly break down. They are. You have to really be into sea-doing or jet skiing in general to have either one. But that was one of the greatest scores. Besides when I found all the comic books that changed my life forever. I walked into a house.
What comic
I found a full run of the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man from like 79 on. I found a full run of Hulk.
That's Spider-Man.
I paid for my divorce with comic books from comic books that I found in a house.
That's awesome.
to the point where my lawyer was like, I don't even want to. I would come to him with cash, and he's like, I don't even want to know where this money's coming from. I didn't have the heart to tell him it came from eBay and Amazon. But I was making a killing selling comic books, but I got a divorce and I spent all
Oh, you
that
will.
money. I could have put my son through college. Let's just put it that way. A 4-year college. Like divorce, I think they make divorce so high that you won't do it again. Or if you it's expensive.
Dude, that's what I was telling you guys. When I got married to my ex-husband, it cost us $35. We went down and got the certificate, what marriage certificate, and we took it over and talked to the justice of peace and set up a day, and we came back like 3 days later, and he married us, and that cost us like 20, so it was like $55. And then we went to go amicably get divorced, and it was like $500. And I was like, oh my God, it only costs like $60 to get married. Why is it so much? And the lady said, honey, Virginia's for lovers, not for fighters. And she was a black lady, and she was like, let me tell you. He was funny. I just cracked up laughing, and then
It's
John
a
looked at me, and I was
scam.
like, it's not very funny.
My ex-wife and I, we fought in court, and I consider it an idiot tax because one day we looked at each other and we were like, I'm tired of coming to this courthouse. We'd been fighting for 3 years, almost 4 years in court. And after thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, we decided to stop fighting. It was one of the most expensive lessons on growing up I've ever had in my life.
It's just not worth it.
It's not. It's not.
Like when I left him, I said, I will just take my stuff. I won't touch anything that was ours. And that's what I did. And, I told him because he fucking freaked out. And I said, you can either ask me to stay here and I can be miserable, or you can let me go, live my life, and then you can be miserable. It's your choice.
Absolutely.
And he
was
just
very
started
young when I
crying. And
first divorced.
he started crying, and he said, okay, let me help you pack up your truck. And that was it.
I was very young in my first divorce. The only thing I took was my Xbox, my TV, and a book bag with the clothes that I like, not the ones that she made me buy. And
I'm
that was
so
it.
lame. Ugh, sorry. I'm so lame. I got mad at my ex-wife and I the last time I was ever at my old apartment. I still laugh at this. I put all my Stargate box DVDs in a backpack and put them in my car and left. That's how lame and dedicated I am to my stupid television show.
Ox, that is some North Carolina redneck shit right there, buddy. Taking jet ski motors and taking the nozzle and everything and putting them on John boats, so they're like, wah!
That's awesome. That's awesome. You see, that's fun. In California, we have all these rules where, like, when you go to the lake, you got to go in circles.
I'm the same way, Sandy. I don't like all that noise. You
So
gotta go in
you're-
circles.
You're literally just going in circles. There's like a couple lakes.
You're on a lake, yeah.
There's a couple lakes up north where you can go. It's like, don't die. You pull up with CD. This one ranger looked at me and he was like, "Don't drink and don't die. Have the time of your life." Put the pass on my truck and was like, "Get out of here."
Here, hold my beer. I got this.
We showed up. We were all dressed for the lake. All the cars behind us were like, we're all excited, honking at each other, and they're like, "Oh, we got a lively bunch here." They're like, city folk go everywhere and ruin everything. It's all right. No, I don't do that. I saw this. I knew a person from Maine, and she would always tell me how people from Boston would come and destroy Maine during the summer and then go home, So I always try not to destroy the places where I go.
Oh my goodness. I've seen some crazy shit in my time. Speaking of John boats, I remember I was out with my ex-girlfriend. We used to go fishing all the time. It was like the best part of her. She loved to go camping and fishing. Like, we got along so good. She was a psycho narcissistic bitch, but that part of her was really cool. So we go fishing all the time, right by the little Chesapeake Bay, on the little Chesapeake Bay side, because Willoughby Spit went up the middle, and then you went over the bridge, went through the bridge tunnel, and you ended up in Hampton.
Okay.
So if you're going north on the left side of that bridge tunnel is the Little Bay, Chesapeake Little Bay. And we used to go over there all the time in a fucking aluminum John boat with 2 oars, and we'd cast underneath the highway because it was so dark underneath there, and it was hot in the summer, and the fish they'd hang out right underneath of there. And I remember one time I went to cast and I threw it like, I don't know if I was too high. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure. But I cast the shit out of it, and it went up onto the bridge, and I was like, oh, and I was waiting for a car to catch it. But it didn't happen. And then I just reeled it back, and it flipped over the rail. And I was like, so after that, I always sidearmed my cast.
Yeah, damn right.
Shit scared me, man.
No, when I was about, how old was I? Maybe 8, 9. We were up north. A friend of my parents had a cabin that we were allowed to use, and we were fishing on the lake in front of Lake Gilmore. And my dad and I were out, and he's casting away, and I'm just just a kid, so I just drop it in the water.
Right.
And he reels back to do a cast, and I decided I needed to stand up and move to the different seat of the boat. And Dad didn't see me stand up, and he casted this treble hook plug in my head.
Triple treble, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it caught you where?
Right in the back of the head. There's parts of the hook still in there.
Are you serious?
So I go fishing enough.
And he goes to the airport. Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding. Don't worry, it's just a hook in my head.
So Jenny's the reason why they give half-an-hour speeches when they go deep sea diving. I get offended.
Listen, everybody, listen. Don't do this. You mean deep sea fishing? Yes.
I've gone deep sea fishing enough to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to hear this. I'm wearing the life vest. I know how to swim. I won't.
Oh, shut up,
I
Will.
won't
Take
drown.
me, man. I want to go deep sea fishing. I've been dying to go deep sea fishing.
It's awesome because I've said it before. My neighbor doesn't even like fish. I go with him, especially his wife passed recently, so I'm definitely gonna go with him this year. He's all by himself now too. I've known him my basically my whole life, so I'm here to help. But like last year, he came to me with all of this tuna, and he's like, I don't like fish, but I went deep sea fishing. and I look at him, I'm like, thank you. And I was like, I want to go. So he took me the next time he took, and it was amazing. It was awesome.
Aww,
yeah, deep sea fishing is awesome.
Aww.
Come on up.
Yeah, he wants love.
No,
Come on up here, Will. We'll throw you out on Lake Michigan and on a salmon boat. And
I'm down. I want to go.
Found salmon and stuff like that.
I'm down.
Okay, everybody, we need to pick a date, and we'll meet at Ox's house.
Oh, I'm down.
Kitty will get there first.
Yeah.
She's probably closest.
I'll get there last.
She might tie with Santi. I don't know.
Said you're not going to get me to go out on the ocean in a boat. That's just ain't going to happen.
It's not as scary as you think because you have to. It's one of those things. The mind is mightier than what's going on. So if you psych yourself out, sorry, kidding.
No,
And a shark
I was
is
thinking
under
out
the-
loud.
I know.
I'll tell you because I've gone swimming in the deep ocean. It is a freaky feeling when you look around and that boat is the only thing that is there from you not being shark food.
The fear of the void.
Exactly. No, the mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Kitty
you
was
know what?
trying-
That's where all those the monster stories come from. Just sailors is turning into nothing.
Somebody
no,
wait.
Sandy. I was just talking about the people on the panel. I wasn't talking about anybody in the chat. I apologize. No, she would definitely get to him first. She's the closest one. She's just across the state from him.
Hey, you guys, Kitty was trying to say something.
No, it's fine. I was just saying I don't know where we'd be meeting, so I couldn't say whether or not I would get there first.
North Carolina. Now I gotta sing North Carolina.
Then, yeah, I would get there first because Miami
Take
is
your
6
shirt
hours
off.
further south of where I am.
I mean, no,
Only
you
not quite 6
you went
hours.
faster than Sandy.
I'm no longer in Miami.
Good.
I'm in the Highlands now.
I did get lucky enough, Sandy, to get on a smaller sailboat, but it wasn't a 2-person. It was oh shit,
I stay there?
8-10 person
Okay.
sailboat / yacht, and it was really cool. They took us around Little Bay. We had so much fun. That thing was awesome. Like they had wine and cheese and grapes, and they put out this spread, and I was like, I'm hanging out with the rich people today. What the fuck? What?
Bougie.
But that's the only time I've been out on a real sailboat. We just went out into the Little Bay, not into the big ocean. So,
I've never been on a sailboat, but I've been on ice boats.
ooh, really?
Yeah.
Like breaking ice?
Breaking ice? You mean hiking?
Oh, I'm
No.
thinking of something different. I was thinking that about the
Oh,
icebreaker
oh,
ships.
no, I'm ice boat. You know, three legs with skates and a sail,
Oh, nice.
70 miles an hour across the lake, that kind of thing.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
So
I
is
would
ice
fucking do that in a heartbeat.
ice fishing real or is that only in Fargo and
No, it's absolutely real.
Mystery Alaska?
You come down to some of the backwaters here where the ice gets thicker. There'll be several hundred people spread out over 20-30 acres of river, all ice fishing. Some guys will have 4 or 5 holes going at a time.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely real.
I'm googling what a jumbo is.
4 or 5 holes at a time will get you in a lot of trouble.
Well, it depends.
That's
gotta
what I was
really-
thinking. That was the shit-eating grin on my face.
You really gotta have your shit together to have 4 or 5 holes at once.
Wait a minute.
I salute you.
And then as spring approaches, the DNR puts out the call, everybody off the lake, and within 24 hours, everything's cleared off. People will put their ice shanties out and leave them there all winter.
I wondered
Well.
about that too.
Oh, I couldn't resist.
Oh, I've been giving advice all day and ticking people off. I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna take a seat back. It's been a trolly McTroll kind of day.
You need to behave, young man.
Well,
There'll be
people
enough of
who
that.
no, hold on. This is people who never really liked me now really don't like me. I'll be okay.
What the fuck, Theo? You got lost on a catamaran going from France?
You know what? I've been lost swimming in Acapulco, in Puerto Vallarta, in
Puerto Vallarta.
Mazatlan.
Puerto Vallarta.
See, Mazatlan, for all the Californians that speak Californian, that is, it's a port where all the ships dock. So it's a really weird place where it's like, it has money, but it's also one of the poorest places, you know? And everybody's selling everything, but it's one of the most beautiful places on the West Coast that's been ruined by the cruise industry. When I was a kid, there were no ships there. You had to drive there. And then they moved a port over there, and it ruined the town because massive people went there, you know?
Yeah. See,
And-
now, Ox, you're thinking of that wrong, because if I was going to come see you, I'd just stop at Sandy's on the way, drop off my house, hang out with her for a few weeks, drive to see you, come back to Sandy's, hang out with her for a couple weeks, and then I'd go back. See, we'll just do it like that.
And now I have
time. I don't have to carry my house back and forth. You know, I could leave it there.
I
Safe.
have PD Pablo stuck in my head. North Carolina. Sorry, I'm from the 90s, having a moment. I'm having a moment.
I don't think I know that
You
song.
can't
Send me a
blame
link,
that one
please.
on me. But I may or may not have, on at least one occasion, taken my shirt off in a car while riding around to cruising to that song. I may or may not have done that.
Because that song's
No,
awesome.
sometimes life's about timing, Santi, and sometimes I just have bad timing. Yeah, it's true, Ox. If I hung out with I'd have to leave.
That
'cause
is-
Sandy would get sick of my ass, kick me out.
That's one thing I miss about LA. It is not rare just to get randomly flashed in LA. And I'm not always talking about
What's wrong with
women.
that? What'd you say?
I'm not always talking about women.
Yeah, no. I got flashed when I was like 12 by a dude. Like he was literally a flasher, like trench coat,
Oh yeah.
open it up, nothing on. Yeah.
That like around here
I'll be right back.
it's one of those things. If I was to see someone like that, I would be like, you still exist? You guys still exist?
Like, I don't see the big deal. It's a penis. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Half the population's got one. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
They
understand
come in
why.
different colors and sizes and sometimes slightly shaped different. But no, it's not really exciting. Everybody calm down. It's not that great. Boobs are way better than penises, and I don't even get excited by boobs half the time.
But as Americans, we still have
Too
that
many.
we still have that Puritan stain on us. We still, like, you know, certain countries laugh at us at our morality in America. Because we're prudes in one way, but you can buy an AR-15 in 15 minutes in Arkansas.
Hell yeah.
Even if you're not from Arkansas. Some British reporter did it, and like they damn near handed it to him right then and there.
Really?
Yeah. And he took it. He was like, oh, I know I won't be able to bring it home, but he like walked out with it and everything. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not one to kink shame, but I kind of agree. There's way more fun stuff to do than just a flash, you know. Sorry, I'm reading. Is it Tubian? Tubian. It's
It's true though, man. I don't understand that shit. You know, I can maybe understand like a drunk guy, you know, trying to whip it out at a woman because he's just a dick and he's just an asshole. But the people that go around and like flashing kids, like what happened to me, which by the way happened twice in my childhood within the same year.
Oh, people are so
I quit
weird.
hanging out in that town, by the way. But I just don't understand. Like, what was the point of that? You know, maybe that guy helped turn me lesbian. I don't know. Maybe he was like the final straw for me. Fuck
Attention.
you, nasty bastard.
Would you consider that attention-seeking behavior?
Oh, absolutely.
That's disgusting. People like that are so Ugh.
I don't have time for attention seekers, man.
I was driving
I just don't.
recently, and there was a man standing by a freeway off ramp. I don't want to say, oh, obviously homeless or this or that. He was flashing his ween, just standing there, hand on hips, pants around waist, and I'm like, LA is never boring. It is never boring. And I'm driving by, and this is like, and I'm sad, but it's almost like an everyday occurrence.
Yeah,
You know, it's sad.
it is sad.
Women too. That was exciting when I was in my 20s. Nowadays, I'm like, I'm old, retired, can't do
You're like,
shit.
quit. I
Yeah.
don't wanna... You're like, nah, I'm going for a cheeseburger right now. That's more important.
You know,
I'll
I'm
do
of that
later.
age. I'm of that age where I've seen boobs. I finally I'm
I've
matured
seen
enough
so many,
at
it's
40.
true.
At 40, I'm finally mature enough to handle boobs.
Well, you know, I was an EMT and I've seen boobs there too. When you see them in that setting, it just kind of, unless you know you're going to play with them and touch them, it stops being exciting.
Exactly.
You know, if
Motorboating is
Yeah,
different
if it's a
than
woman like you're going to bed with and she says, look at these, this is what one you're about to get. Fuck yeah. But otherwise, I'm just like, meh.
that's different than like, oh, look at my piercing. Like, okay, I've seen it. I worked at a tattoo shop, so I've seen a million boobs, men and women. Again, I've seen quite a few. Because people would come in there from all around the country. I don't understand this. I'm just not one of those people. But people would come from around the country to get a piercing on Hollywood Boulevard. I guess to go home with like a tongue ring, be like, I went to Hollywood,
Boulevard.
I don't know what I don't know what it was.
I got my nipples pierced in Vegas. Although technically it was the second time I did it, because the first time I did it just really to piss off my mom, and I let it close up. And then when I was in Vegas, I was like, I want a souvenir, and I don't really have enough money for a tattoo, and I don't know what I want right now, so I'll just get another piercing, because that is less permanent than a tattoo, and I still have them, and like it's been 15 years now, like almost.
See, that's...
that sounds like a country song. I got all my piercings down in Vegas.
You can get anything in Vegas.
I hate country music so much.
Oh, good. I'll sing to you later.
Live
stream.
I love country music.
They come with a t-shirt that says
and bluegrass.
I went to West Hollywood, and all I got was this permanently disfigured lip.
What you think Twitter is drama? You've never seen 3 grown men fight over each other. West Hollywood is lit. Or 3 grown women fight over each other.
I've seen that.
West Hollywood is lit.
Ox wants to know if you're nervous, Santi. He said you're fidgeting with your hands.
It's I talk with my hands, so it's like I make a habit of keeping them down. It's like a
so now you
thing.
think you're Italian? I'm offended by that. No,
See? But there's so many things that you can do with your hands that's so expressive, So
it's true, and I really don't know what you mean right now. What are you saying? I mean, look at me. I do that all the time.
I don't know.
My lighters.
Yeah, and I play with my face all the time because I don't have anything to do with my hand. So I'm always doing this.
No, and I do that with my hair. Like I'm constantly doing this. When I don't know what to do with my hands, I do this.
You better behave,
Just
Jenny's
get my
on
hair
you.
on my face.
She's watching.
Also, I changed the angle. So it's making me weird now.
So I needed a fancy dish for my lighters, and because I'm a picker, I have this pimp cup as my lighter dish.
This thing's huge.
Hey, come in my garage. This thing will hurt you.
Dude, I need to give me the measurements of that. I'll literally make a vinyl decal for the side that is like rainbow colors and says "Flame On."
Oh, I need some. I can walk around Pride. No, they'll stop me if I walk around Pride with something like this because this is a weapon.
That can be used as a weapon.
Yeah,
is it metal? Metal. Is it glass?
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's old. It's old, so it's made well and it's solid. Because it's older, they took time to actually make sure it'll last.
I think my grandmother, when I was growing up, she had some glasses and stuff that were that really thick, heavy crystal shit, and it's just they were so fucking cool and intricate, and yeah.
That was one thing. When nobody would help me take stuff from my grandma's house, so I sent an email to everybody in my family. I was like, "Look, I get first pick. It's all mine. If you don't want to help me, you don't have say. This is officially my house." No one challenged me. I just, I got so much stuff that I ended up giving stuff, even to the people I don't like, because that's the kind of person I am. To like my uncle that I absolutely hate. I gave him paintings, all kinds of stuff, But I proved a point. Like, if you're not going to help me, you don't have say. You will get whatever I don't want. So I got cool stuff like this.
Ox said it looks like party glass from the dime pitch.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome if I had like 15 of them. I miss old carnival games. Or just maybe it's the food and the booze.
That fucking goldfish game. Fuck them. That shit is
I've gotten
impossible.
so many goldfish from that stupid game.
Oh, fuck you. I never won one.
I did. I had one that lived to the point where I cried when it died.
Now the
I had
flipping
one that I had
games
for
and the shooting
years.
games, I'd kick ass at those, man. I was an ass. I'd kick ass at any of the shooting or pitching games. Anything I had to throw, like baseball-wise or something.
You know what? I gotta take Isaiah to a fair because he does go shoot his BB gun every day with those targets. He's gonna go tick off a carny because he's accurate. Because he's accurate right now.
There you go. There you go, Will. Fucking. I'm telling you, my kills me sometimes.
I do. Me
The sound
too.
of the cricket. My son, whenever it starts doing its thing, he'll go woo, woo,
That's
woo, and he'll
awesome.
woo along with the cricket machine, and it's just the cutest thing.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
It's amazing with kids with autism. Some of them are so different. They get interested in different things, and they'll focus. They get into one thing, and they want to do that one thing. And by God, whatever it is, they'll do amazing though.
Well, and
They are
it's like
so focused on that one thing, man.
I was cutting stuff out last night.
At least the
and
ones I've met.
he was wooing, and I was like, okay, well, Daddy's trying to sleep, so if you're gonna woo, you gotta woo quiet. She's like, woo, woo. It was so freaking cute.
Aww.
Like, oh, melt my heart.
I want to start doing that every
actually like the sound.
Every time you mute that and turn that machine on, I'm gonna start going woo, woo. Just to fuck with people in the chat and see what happens.
Like it's not super loud, you know.
No.
No,
Hell,
I don't
Sandy's
know how
made
much
more
the
noise
mic
than that
is-
with her grinder to
But
clean up
the
the edge of
woo,
the glass.
you hear the woo.
Oh no, I missed it.
Can I come over and woo your cutter?
Well, if you come
Ooh.
visit, you can use my cutter whenever.
Okay.
We'll make cute stuff.
I just want to woo it.
That's the only appropriate woo, I guess, right? Do you know what the atheist community has ruined woo woo for me? Whenever I think of woo woo now, I think of bad science.
Yeah, I just say woohoo. I put the H on the next word. Woohoo.
I just say I'm like, oh, that's woo woo, and people don't have no idea what I'm saying
Yeah.
because I forget they don't
I
obsessively
prefer
watch
mumbo
YouTube.
jumbo.
Mumbo,
like
yeah,
that.
that too. Word salad, any
Yeah,
of
for
that.
me,
Yes.
it's no woo. It's like
Goddamn bullshit.
welcome water, mumbo jumbo.
Yes, that one, Jenny. Goddamn bullshit. That's what it is.
I always say like you are flat out making this shit up.
There's no fucking way.
Again,
No, my
and that-
brother will tell you that. There was no flood. Nothing's happened yet. That's why there's no proof. Won't he,
It's a
Santi?
prophecy.
Yeah, that's right. It's a
Yes, yes, he would. Yes, he would. I had listened to the story, and it gets really good. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a good episode of Asian Aliens.
Right.
I'll buy his
Right.
more than the one
Like
from
a
History
good,
Channel.
more logical episode of yes.
I can't remember the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
guy's
yeah.
name.
Without them trying me to fool me with a bunch of pictures. Sorry, what? Go.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Richard would always have a young man on that would talk about ayahuasca, and I would like smoke some top shelf stuff and listen to them go off about their experience. I liked it, and that's not even like. And this is me being sincere. Like I would sit there and smoke.
I
Like,
mean,
all
you
right.
know, that's the thing is it's actually interesting to me because I've never heard it before. And that's
Oh.
all it is.
Mhm.
That's what, and it makes more sense than
It's
what
a
the
whole new
Christians are
take, and
doing.
it's very sincere.
So I'm like, go ahead, tell me what, really? Okay. I'm not on board with you, but that's fucking interesting.
There's
That's what I
there's
tell them.
there's this guy called Snake Was Right, and he had a couple conversations with
I know
with
Snip is
Richard,
right. I know what
and
you're talking about,
he's
yeah.
very methodical as well. Yeah, and those conversations are just like, wow, you can just sit there and like listen and like how he describes. I mean, still mumbo jumbo, Richard, but your mumbo
Right,
jumbo
but
is
it's
good.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know the big thing I
Yeah.
like about my brother compared to most theists is he's not a dickhead while he's talking about it. I know that's a weird, strange idea to be kind and polite and respectful while you're having a discussion with another adult or anybody, but he actually does that, and I actually find it more interesting because even if somebody's like a dick like DD, he's still nice to them, and they just look like a dick, and he looks like a nice guy who was very patient. I'm like, good for you.
Mhm.
So fuck you and yeah, I don't have time for all that other bullshit. They jump in the chats and they call people names, and I'm like, dude, that's not very Christian. And they're like, oh, fuck,
What's
like
the
Praise
Christian
said
thing to
one
do?
time. Praise said, oh, fuck you, libtard. Jesus cussed and got mad too. I'm like, oh, so you're Jesus now?
Yeah.
You're so high up, you can do what Jesus did?
It
Damn.
I hate to get
dude.
late 90s WWF, but it doesn't matter what Jesus did. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, just don't be a dick. Yeah, but seriously.
Quite
And
literally.
I just don't
Lily.
understand that. Because in my head, you know, I was raised that a Christian person cares about people and is kind and loving and non-judgmental. Like, that's how I was raised. So when people are doing the opposite, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not, how is that Christian? I don't even understand you right now. Like you say, I'm a Christian, you
I was
atheists
raised
are fucked up. And then call people names and pick on people's kids and wives and what the fuck? Just
Or
blows
go.
I was raised in a Catholic in a Catholic country, and it was like half evangelical and half Catholic, and then everybody had like a witch in the family, right? Because it's
Right.
South America. And
A
then
bruja.
like my parents, una bruja, yeah, and they had but my parents weren't religious, right? Like they had like their belief or whatever, but they never like passed it down. So everything that I saw from religion was like the first time that I went to the Catholic church was because like, well, that I remember was for baptism. I literally fell asleep there. So I was like, this is boring. And then like when I woke up, they were asking me for money. And I was like, no, this doesn't work. And I left. Right. And then I went to the evangelical one, and then they were jumping and they were singing and they had games. And then he started slapping people and they fell. And then they asked me for money, and I was like, no, I'm out. You know, so for me, it was always about money. And then somebody explained to me that they were worshiping something, right? Because like
Right.
I was just a kid that they were dragging to these places, and I was like, oh, so you actually? And I was like, oh yeah, I seen that in the Thundercats. Like they have like
Right.
people in the space and shit, and like yeah, they didn't take that well. And then you know, but
Yeah, I mean, my
I was
mom.
not
My
invited
mom
to that
took us-
church anymore.
My mom took us to Catholic church, so yeah, I was raised Catholic.
So
But
there's the
she
blade.
was not. Honestly, she was not one of those like staunch. We're gonna talk about it. You know, she had like one anointing kit crucifix thing she kept on the wall, and then another tiny cross, and that was pretty much it. I think that's pretty much all she had in the house. And
Shut up, B.
she only talked about religion on Sundays, directly around church, pretty much. There'd be other minor conversations, but all of our conversations were about science because she was a fucking science teacher. That's what she did.
B, that's enough. I
What?
wanted to see what Kitty was trying to show us.
What?
It was the blade.
Oh no. I was just showing the blade for the machine.
Oh,
I want a cricket tour. She can do us a cricket tour.
you ready? You ready, Kitty? Do a cricket tour?
Oh no, I was the blade, like
Right
there's
now.
different blades for the machines. And I was showing like the one that's used to cut vinyl. It looks almost like a really teeny tiny little like combination chisel, scalpel, and like flathead screwdriver, like think eyeglass kit size.
Right.
So it's about the size of like a flathead screwdriver for an eyeglass kit, but it's slightly beveled more, and you know it looks almost like a chisel scalpel thing, and that's what cuts the vinyl. But mine had some vinyl on it, so it wasn't making a clean cut, so I'm having to repeat the cut because it's very intricate. So I'm trying to
okay.
get it so that I can piece all the parts that I need together. So like I'm hoping maybe with less pressure and a cleaner blade it will do the job.
Right.
Don't mind me.
No, that's interesting. It's fine.
That's
We
interesting.
can dig it.
But I'm the bruja in
learn.
my family. I mean, I wear my pentagram and everything.
Oh no, not a pentagram.
Hey, mine has the
What?
phases of the moon around it here.
No, I know. You showed it to me. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, that's neat.
Nice pentagram.
Yeah, that's cool.
Beautiful. And
I
there's
saw
a cleavage
something
shot in
similar
there,
to
too.
that the other
There you
day,
go,
but I
babe.
can't remember what it was. What'd you say, Kitty? I'm sorry.
No, I said, and there was a cleavage shot in there too. There you go, B.
Oh, thanks.
Saw that.
I was actually looking at the pendant though, but see,
Sure you were.
Besides, Kitty, I look at your boobs all the time while we're streaming together. It's
Right?
fine.
So it's really fine lines, and it's not cutting as cleanly as I would like. But I should be able to piece together everything I need out of this,
Right.
which is why I've been hunched over, like tooling around with this. It's just this would work better if the design were a little bit bigger, but because it's smaller, it's very fine lines that it needs to do. But yeah, no, there should be enough pieces I can Frankenstein this together.
You guys, I'm gonna take.
Frankenstein it. Yeah, Jenny.
I'm gonna take off.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in and hanging out and putting up with us.
Oh, it's
You know, I
always
appreciate you.
I appreciate.
you got a good crew here.
Aw. Thanks, honey. We appreciate you too.
Hey, Jenny, thanks again for fighting the good fight today. Godless Sewing Industries loves ya.
Yeah, you got to back up my Sewing Circle co-host.
And tomorrow you have to come on the Sewing Circle too, because Jen will probably be busy because she has a life.
What
And
time
she's
is that?
7. Oh, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Yes,
7.
okay.
It's 7 West Coast.
7
You too.
Okay, that's what I thought.
You too, Santi. I wanna.
It's basically
I would
the same
love
time
to.
as the What the Fuck show.
What's that on Easter?
I'll try to make
Eastern, it's 10 o'clock.
10 p.m.
it. Bye bye, chat.
Have a good-
Bye bye.
Bye, Jenny. Thank you.
Bye. If
I'll hop in a little late because I get out of work at 5 tomorrow, and then I'll hop in as soon as I get home. And get the grind up.
I'll add you to the group. A brouhaha, Anger, is when you drink too many beers with a brujo or a bruja. That's a brouhaha. In Germany during October.
Yeah.
Oktoberfest. Yes.
No, but I was gonna
October
say
with a K.
in my family, and this is a funny story, so you guys don't have to go on because it's a funny story. At my dad's funeral, we're in the back, and I brought my ex-wife, and I'll tell you why. Because we get in the car, and my ex-wife, she instantly turns around and looks at my son, and she's like, "If you say a word, I'm gonna be on you like white on rice." I'm like, "Good." The sheriff's in town, because we're good cop, bad cop. She has no patience, and I have patience. So she told him, like, if you make a noise, like, you know, because my son at her aunt's funeral, my son went up and gave a 10-minute speech while my ex-wife was smoking a cigarette. And talked about the aunt he barely knew to like 40 people.
Wow.
And so my ex-wife already had some like
she's like, "Don't you dare."
yeah, she just wasn't playing. So we're all in the back of the church, and like when I say the back of the church, there's like 40-50 people. And my father was married. He was you know, he was a long story. He had 9 kids. He was married a couple times. So a sister that I had never met before walked up to me. And my ex-wife was crying, and she's hitting me, and she's like, "You need to feel something right now. Give your sister a hug," you know. And we're having a moment, and like, she's like, "Oh, it's so good that we can have this at a church." My son looks up and he says, "My dad and I are atheists, and we don't believe in anything." Everybody stopped talking. Everybody stopped. Literally, I felt 50 people turn and look at me. Everyone turned and looked at me, and I was like, "Yup."
Fuck.
Gotta leave
Yeah.
that
Cat's out of the bag.
So he outed me in front of a crowd of
Cat's
people.
out of the bag.
But it's awesome. It's awesome because it saves me on Christmas gifts. And they all left me alone after that. But, you know, like Catholics still look down at atheists. My brother, he's a wiener. He's a sensitive guy, but he said that the word atheist was offensive. I was like, "I'm an atheist." He's like, "That's offensive." I said, "What?" What?
So is your like invisible
That's
deity
not how
that
offense works,
doesn't
buddy.
exist. I find the Christian God offensive. So
I think
fuck off.
Santi, you know those people that have been in a Catholic church their whole life, and they're just lost in the Catholic church, and they're scared of everything. and they're Hispanic, and they're scared.
Yeah, oh yeah.
My girlfriend's roommate, she's like, I swear to God, she's like that.
My brother
There's certain
is scared
Hispanic
of
people that when you say atheist, they don't only think like they don't assume that you don't believe in God. You don't believe in anything. You don't believe in kindness. You don't believe in anything. Like as soon as you say atheist, they feel like they're
right
trapped with a serial killer here. Like they think like this guy is capable of anything, and that's the same thing I think when they're Catholic. So
absolutely. So there's no like in honestly, I've given up even trying not like to talk to him, but every time I talk to someone in my family, they ask me, "Are you still an atheist? Are you still?" And we're going on, they've been asking me since like 2000. They're asking me for a while.
Oh my God, dude.
They're more offended about atheism than sexuality. They would rather me be a stripper in West Hollywood. Hey, but don't kink shame because go-go dancers make a ton of money. Go-go dancers make a ton of money. Ton of money. Oh, out here. That's how I met John Barrowman. But that's a different story for a different day.
Well, I have my family, like it's mostly evangelical now over there because there was like a whole wave that they all went to the Jumpy Singing church, and
Jumpy Singing,
and now, yeah, no,
I just realized
James Brown, yeah, they go James Brown, like they have like it's crazy, and now when they asked me if I'm atheist, I was like, no, now I'm Jesus. It completely ends the conversation. Like it's like, no, I found out I'm Jesus. I'm the Messiah. How you doing?
You look more like than the what the Christians use for color and everything. Would be closer.
I definitely need some ammo for the Jehovah's because they're the only ones.
My printer didn't. Oh yeah, they will back down. Like you just gotta stay that you're. There's a word. God the Son. No, not God the Son. Freaking Doubting Thomas says it. Like you just gotta tell them that you're excommunicated. That you used to be a Jehovah's Witness and now you're excommunicated. They can talk to you. Yeah, they can talk to you. Like by the.
Ooh, they'll probably believe me because most people that are Jehovah's Witness out here are black or Hispanic.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's weird.
I in high school, this is kind of a strange experience. I knew a girl who I'm not going to say her name. She was gorgeous. She was just an absolute great person. And I'd always ask her like, how come you don't like date anyone? How come, I was that kind of guy. I was a little direct, and she told me, she's like, I'm Jehovah's Witness. And I met her mom. I knew her dad. What is normal? They were nice people. They were the nicest people on earth, but they didn't celebrate a damn thing.
Nope, none of it.
Yeah, but it's all up front. They're not allowed to not look nice in front of you. Like even if they're having like the worst, more depressed day of their life, they had to play the character because they represent their church. Right, and the church has to seem like a happy place. They can be starving, they can be like in economic struggle and all this stuff, and they had to play the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a phase. They'll grow out of it.
I'm definitely gonna steal that if that works. I'm definitely gonna steal that.
That's what I used. What I used to use when they came to the door in Miami. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, like have you heard the good news? Yes, and I'm excommunicated. They put you on that list. They don't come to your house no more. Like you don't have to deal with them until another church opens up in the neighborhood.
I'm not playing. I'm gonna do that. I am not playing. I'm gonna do that.
Go for it. I mean,
so everybody, we've been going on like 2.5 hours. So I'm tired and I'm done. So I'm gonna kill this. Will, what do you have coming up?
Tomorrow, I have a feeling we will be doing the Sewing Circle at 7:00 West Coast time on the Go the Sewing channel. Be there or be square, as I say. And after that, I am the warm-up band for Purple Rhymes with Orange at 10:00 West Coast time, but it's midnight in America. So Purple's awesome. They are amazing. So
yeah.
I'll always show for Perp.
Yeah, Perp's cool. What about you, Santi? What do you got coming up?
I have on Saturday. I will have secular D&D in One Rings 42 channel with Julie and Julie LaVoice, Gio Sam, and hopefully Linda from the TMI show. You know, it's like and then on not this Monday, but the next, I'm gonna have Gio Sam in my channel to do a bullet point interview of like atheists in the community. Like I'm trying to, thanks to you both. I'm restarting my channel because you dragged me back into camera.
Good. It's been a year. I can almost tell you, like it's almost been 365 like to the day. So good to see you.
Well,
yeah, let me know any night, anything except for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. Let me know if you need somebody on. I'm game, man.
Let me add you to the group.
I just gotta figure out the time. Like, and then
yeah.
I just gotta figure out a good day and a good time, and then I'm gonna set it up because I want to do like with everybody. Like, Will is my most watched video, like with 76 views.
Really?
I still go and look at that. I still go. That was my rookie. That was my rookie debut. I was all skinny.
Nobody has done them before. Yeah, like, I didn't even know he was a guy. Like, I was like, our first conversation was like, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry to ask, but are you like, what do I address you?"
Before we end this, I completely forgot about that. You know what? I want to give a big shout out to the atheist community that you guys completely misgendered me before.
I did.
And you're still around. No, Perp called me she.
Oh, really?
Because I would always write in the chat like, "Oh, I got to take care of the kid" or something, you know. And so they always assumed, you know.
And then the sewing part.
Yeah.
I was being sexist. I was being a Hispanic macho guy, and like I saw sewing, and I was like, "Woman."
I thought you were a woman until the first time I saw you on a stream, and then I was like, "Oh shit, that's a dude."
I love that. And then
that's a sewing dude. That's awesome.
Still to this day, Aunt Jer has the greatest comment of all time on Santi's channel. And she was like, "I thought you were like a 70-year-old white lady." I laughed so fucking hard. Because it didn't even dawn on me.
You can't even get more opposite than that.
It didn't even dawn on me because I sew. It's what I do. It's what I do. Judge me, hate me. It's what I do, you know? Like, so it's just a part of who I am. It's my name, you know? So it made me laugh. Like, I forgot that people didn't know I was brown. I forgot. So
I had no idea you were brown. Like, I had no idea he was a dude. Like, we started talking and we just we're homies. We use the same freaking language. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I feel you, brother.
Exactly. You had to make sure I wasn't a complete psycho. And then years from now, people are going to be mad at you for unleashing me on the internet. Years from now, people are going to be like, "Damn it, Santi. You taught that guy StreamYards. Damn it."
I'm so proud to see you out there making mayhem, bro. Like, I love it. Yeah, okay, cool.
Kitty, what are you gonna do?
That's all I got for a shilling.
I will be on the Sewing Circle as Will's co-host tomorrow. Since we don't have a what the fuck, because Jen's doing the moves, shift, all that. And then I'm taking it easy because I'm gonna have a rough couple of weeks, and I've had a rough couple of weeks, so it's kind of a woo. But I'm going to be working on a produced video, and as soon as that is done, I will be scheduling the stream on autism that Will and Purple and Sam are going to be on with me. So that is awesome. To be announced later. As soon as I get the video done, that I can plan it out. But I have to have that produced video first. So other than that, I don't really have much coming up, but definitely check me out on the Sewing Circle tomorrow, and check out the new podcast with Sam and Will, and then check out Perp, because Perp will be on after the Sewing Circle tomorrow.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. So I'm probably gonna try to stay up late tomorrow night, and so I can be with at least you guys in the chat, if nothing else, for Purple stream. And I will definitely show up for you guys' the Sewing Circle.
Awesome.
And then of course on Friday night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing something. So yeah, guys, just everybody sub to everybody. Everybody show everybody love. Take care of each other. Be good to each other. Don't be a dickhead douchebag. Peace out.